Chapter 11:17. The Dragon Phoenix Abyss had been open for a full year. Too many battles had taken place this year, and many creatures had died one after another. There were originally 100,000, but now there were only 60,000 left. With 40,000 dead, the death rate had exceeded 40%. In the past, the death rate was at most 30%. However, this time, before the end of the competition, the death rate had already exceeded that. Other than the fact that many treasures had appeared in this competition, which led to more battles to the death, it was also because of the special environment that greatly affected the movements of the geniuses here. Even with the Imperial Edict, their lives were still in danger. This was also the reason for the high death rate. No matter what, this was the cruelty of the competition between the geniuses of various clans. If one wanted to become a top-notch expert, one had to go through such a baptism of blood and tears. Only then could one become stronger and become an overlord in the future. Following the appearance of the invincible ranking a few months ago, many geniuses tried their best to rush up to the invincible ranking. As long as they could enter the top 100, they were destined to be famous throughout the world. The significance of this was no small matter. Regardless of whether it was the human race or the creatures of other clans, they were all crazily refreshing their win rates. The leaders of various clans all asked their subordinates to surrender, relying on this to quickly obtain victory. Then, they quickly searched for the nearest creatures and subdued them to strengthen their own teams, preparing for the final battle of the invincible ranking. In the battle of the invincible ranking, what mattered in the end was not only the battle strength of an individual, but also the strength of a team. No matter how strong an individual was, he could not be compared to a powerful team. Once he fell into the encirclement of a team, he would only end up dying in the end. Therefore, every top-notch genius was strengthening their team. When the battle of the teams began, as long as they could defeat one or two teams, they would be able to rapidly increase their ranking. Currently, the most powerful team of the human race was none other than the Wuho gang. After Yang Wu ascended to the top of the invincible ranking, his popularity had reached its peak. Even if he did not recruit others, there were still geniuses who came to surrender one after another, and were willing to join the Wuho gang and become a member of the gang. Thus, the Wuho gang rapidly grew. Now, the number of humans had reached 1,800. These people included those who had followed Yang Wu before, such as Lu Ji, Yang Ba, Su Zhu, Yang Yifan, Yang Mei Man, and the 7 heroes of Wudang. They had all joined him. In addition, there were nearly 400 spirit demons who had joined the Marquis gang. This was Yang Jinlong's team, and the Golden Crowned Eagles were among them as well. The strongest member of their team was Aou, a prince of the Flood Dragon clan. He was not a prince like Ao Changzhan. His bloodline was a level higher than Yang Jinlong's, and he had the potential to transform into a dragon in the future. Aou was ranked in the top 10 of the invincible ranking. He was willing to come to Yang Wu because he wanted to battle with Yang Wu. Yang Wu had fulfilled his wish and fought with him. In the end, Aou defeated Aou. Therefore, these hundreds of spirit demons were all willing to surrender to increase Yang Wu's chances of victory. Moreover, these hundreds of spirit demons had joined forces with the Wuho gang, strengthening the Wuho gang's team. However, Yang Wu's team was not the strongest. There were 3 other teams that were not weaker than them, and some even surpassed them. First was the Devil Race. This race was very united against external forces. Their leader, Xie had gathered more than 3,000 Devil Race beings. Once they started a conflict, there might not be any team that could withstand them. Another team was led by Fox Princess. She was the 7-tailed Fox King and had a high bloodline. Moreover, the previous Invincible King title was also won by another 7-tailed Fox King. Their fox race had a very high prestige, and she had gathered nearly 3,000 spirit demons. As for the other races, they were led by the Jade Emperor race. Dimo's brother, Dishong, was very strong, and had also gathered more than 2,000 spirit demons. With the various races forming teams, the victories of these Sky Prides were being refreshed bit by bit. Yang Wu was no longer the sole leader, and was only slightly ahead of Xie Jiren, Fox King, and Di Shan. These guys had all surpassed 3,000 victories, and Yang Wu was the first to surpass 4,000 victories. He was infinitely close to 5,000 victories and was about to break the previous record. In the past, there had been situations where various races had formed teams, but it was far from being as crazy as this one. It was all because Yang Wu alone was suppressing the other living beings so much that they could not raise their heads. Therefore, these living beings came up with this plan. As time passed, there was a slight change in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Everyone could feel that this space was about to open up again. When that time came, they would definitely have to leave the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, and that would mean that the Battle of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss would be over. At this point, all the top-notch Sky Prides were starting to get anxious. This was especially so for the other races. They did not want a human to ride on their heads and shit. Therefore, some Sky Pride suggested that they choose a battlefield to determine the final invincible king. In the meantime, each race would choose their own kings. Then, they would compete to determine the final invincible king. Half a month later, all the living beings who wanted to compete for the invincible king started to move closer to Yang Wu's location. Yang Wu's location would be the final battlefield. When Yang Wu heard this news, he was in favor of this suggestion. He was also tired of the constant running around. It would be good to end it early and leave. Ever since he killed Bali, he had not stopped to rest. He had been chasing after Kuan Mingzi and Xingyu. However, the two of them had fled in different directions. Kuan Mingzi headed north, while Xingyu headed south. Yang Wu could only choose to chase after one of them. The one he wanted to kill the most was Kuan Mingzi. Therefore, he led his team north. There was a cold spring in the north. When Yang Wu arrived there, he found that there had been a great battle. The cold spring had been taken by Kuan Mingzi. Kuan Mingzi's escaping skills were top-notch. Yang Wu wanted to abandon the team and chase after him alone, but Meng Bingxue stopped him. Kuan Mingzi's battle prowess was extraordinary. She did not want Yang Wu to take the risk. Moreover, Yang Wu's goal should be the invincible king, not Kuan Mingzi. Yang Wu suppressed his impulse and did not deliberately chase after him. Instead, he led his team to search for ore veins. They mined all the high-value ores here. At the same time, they also searched for items of dragon, phoenix, and other holy items. With the help of such a large team, Yang Wu obtained a lot of holy soil. These were all holy soil used to cultivate herbs. It was very difficult to find in the outside world. In addition, there were many holy stones. He even found a piece of mysterious god stone. This was a true god-tier material. However, before he could warm it up, Little Hay snatched it away. Little Hay said that it was refining a good weapon for Yang Wu. Yang Wu went with the flow. He tossed the dual blades, triple dragon spear, and mysterious phoenix sword to Little Hay and had it upgrade these two weapons. Blackie didn't refuse. After extorting some materials from Yang Wu, he upgraded the two weapons to top-grade sacred weapons. The dual blades and 3-dragon spear have been refined with dragon bones and fragments of damaged divine weapons. It was branded with top-grade array patterns. Its power could definitely be ranked in the top 10 of the sacred weapon ranking. It was even more precious than the Luo water spear. Although the upgraded Phoenix Profound Sword wasn't as good as the dual blades and 3-dragon spear, it wasn't much worse than the Luo water spear. Apart from that, Yang Wu also had Little Hay refine a top-tier holy garment. It was modeled after the one from the Apothecary Alliance. In the end, the holy garment that Little Hay refined was even more beautiful than the one from the Apothecary Alliance. Little Hay lamented that it had not fully recovered its strength and that it did not have enough materials. Otherwise, it would have been able to refine a divine weapon. In truth, even if it had divine materials, Little Hay would not refine Yang Wu's two weapons into divine weapons. It did not want to become dependent on Yang Wu's weapons. Over the past 6 months, Yang Wu had rarely used his weapons in battle. Little Hay had emphasized that he should use the barbaric god's arms and wind god's legs more often to refine these innate abilities to the extreme. Every innate ability possessed extraordinary power. The barbaric god's arms could unleash powerful arm strength, and great destructive power. Little Hay had asked Yang Wu to use the strength of his arms to continuously smash the hardest rocks. This was the most primitive way to refine the strength of his arms. The rocks here were incomparably hard. Even a minor saint would find it hard to break them if they collided with each other with their fleshly body. It was true that Yang Wu could use his arms to break the rocks. Yang Wu felt that Little Hay's method was too deceptive. However, he still followed it. At the very least, Little Hay would not harm him. Therefore, whenever he encountered an incomparably hard rock, he would smash it like a madman. The prodigies who followed him were all stunned by his method of refining his arms. Was this how Yang Wu usually cultivated? This was too crude. Many of these prodigies came from major forces. As their strength increased, their cultivation methods would also change. Most of the time, they would use formations, spirit herbs, and spirit liquids to refine their bodies. Why would they use such a low-level cultivation method? Yang Wu felt like he was being looked at like a monkey. Whenever he encountered hard rock, he would use it as a target to vent his anger and smash it into powder. As he practiced this swinging cultivation method, Yang Wu discovered a strange feeling in his arms. After a long period of swinging, the acupoints in his arms seemed to have been stimulated. The energy they could absorb increased by a lot. It was as if they had become sponges. They could continue to absorb more and more energy to improve the power of his innate ability. After this shocking discovery, Yang Wu understood Little Hay's painstaking efforts. Innate ability was the unlocked potential of the human body. This potential was limitless. Under the stimulation of external forces, it could be further improved. Therefore, he cultivated even more desperately. He even cultivated his leg technique. He did not use his celestial chi and stepped on the rocks barefoot. It was as if he was hammering his arms and continued to stimulate the potential of the acupoints in his feet. Yang Wu was slowly improving his innate ability. He gradually understood Little Hay's painstaking efforts. It did not necessarily want him to use this method to continue cultivating. Instead, it wanted him to understand that his innate ability could be continuously excavated. The so-called limit was not the real limit. Only by breaking the limit would a new world appear. After Yang Wu understood this principle, he also understood how to refine his innate ability in the future. Unknowingly, their team appeared at the westernmost side of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. It was also the ultimate battlefield that Yang Wu had chosen. There was divine soil in the west. This was Yang Wu's final goal. He hoped that he could bring some divine soil out of here. Yang Wu had just found the location of the divine soil when he discovered that part of it had been eaten by living creatures. Chapter 11:18. Sacred soil was a type of soil that gradually took form after being stained with holy chi. Divine soil was the same. Divine soil would only become divine soil after being stained with holy chi. In the westernmost part of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, there was a large piece of divine soil. However, none of the creatures that had come here had taken this divine soil. It was rather difficult to obtain, and it was also a special type of divine soil. It was the divine burial earth. Burial soil represented bad luck. It was a place where corpses were buried and would have a strong smell of decay. Divine burial soil was different. If a corpse was buried here, even a mortal's body would be immortal for tens of thousands of years. It was the most suitable divine burial soil for preserving corpses. To evil beings like the corpse race and the ghost race, this was their favorite godly soil. Living beings didn't like this type of godly soil because it would devour life force. This life force would become the nourishment of the godly soil, nourishing it. When Yang Wu and his group arrived, they naturally did not know that this was a divine burial ground and that there were living creatures eating it. The corpse clan loved divine burial soil the most. They had spent so much effort to find it, so they naturally would not let go of such an opportunity. However, their levels were too low. They could not refine the divine burial soil, even if they ate it, so they stored it away. There are not many corpse clan members here, only 12 in total. When they noticed Yang Wu and his group arrive, they quickly left without a word. They had already obtained the divine burial soil they wanted and were satisfied. They did not want to be killed by Yang Wu and his group. If Yang Wu did not make a move, someone else would. Dozens of prodigies from the Martial Marquis gang flew out and chased after the Corpse Clan members. Many creatures and races did not like the Corpse Clan. They specialized in robbing the tombs of other people's ancestors. You guys be careful. These Corpse Clan members are not ordinary. Yang Wu reminded his companions. Don't worry, gang leader. We know our limits. A prodigy responded. Let's see who can slaughter them first. Another prodigy said excitedly. All right, let's see who can kill the most. We'll each bet a small sacred herb. A prodigy agreed. Along the way, Yang Wu's team had been exchanging pointers from time to time. In addition to pursuing victory, they also wanted to improve their own combat strength. The geniuses who were able to enter the Dragon Phoenix Abyss all had their own specialties and extraordinary battle prowess. Sparring with each other was extremely beneficial to them. Now, they were using the Corpse Clan's living beings as training targets. This atmosphere was created by Yang Wu. He didn't just recruit these prodigies without giving them room to train. On the contrary, only when they became stronger would the battle prowess of his team become stronger. In the Martial Marquis Association, other than Yang Wu, who had the highest winning percentage, it was Zi Yu's turn. Her and Zi Qilin's battle prowess was publicly acknowledged, and many prodigies were convinced by her. Even Yang Ba was ashamed of his inferiority. In terms of individual strength, Zi Yu might only be comparable to Tuoba Fian and Yang Ba. However, her mount, Zi Qilin's bloodline, was too pure, and its battle prowess was stronger than theirs. Only Yang Wu could intimidate this Zi Qilin. With this Zi Qilin, Zi Yu had gained a powerful helper. It wasn't surprising that she became the second most powerful person in the association. She also won more than 1,000 battles and successfully entered the Invincible leaderboard. Less than 5 human female prodigies were able to enter the top 100 leaderboard. This was enough to show how powerful she was among this batch of female prodigies. Are we going to have the final battle here? Zi Yu asked Yang Wu, who was beside her. At this moment, Yang Wu was sitting on 8th Zhu, sizing up the graveyard of the gods in front of him. Many of them had been taken away by the Corpse Clan. Before Yang Wu could answer Zi Yu's question, Little Hei's voice rang out. Little Wu, this is the best place for you to cultivate. Hurry up and cultivate. It might even help you unlock your talent further. Little Hei, are you joking? This is the graveyard of the gods. Do you want me to die? Yang Wu asked, looking at Little Hei on his shoulder in an exaggerated manner. It's precisely because the graveyard of the gods is the most suitable place for you to cultivate. Those mountain rocks before were just for warming up, replied Little Hei. Without waiting for Yang Wu to act, Little Hei had already run into the graveyard of the gods. It also sent a voice transmission to Little Man, come too. Yang Wu couldn't reject Little Hei's suggestion. He had seen how mysterious Little Hei was. Moreover, it wouldn't harm him. If it said that it was suitable for him to cultivate, then it was definitely suitable for him to cultivate. Yang Wu told Zi Yu and the other prodigies to cultivate in place and wait for the final battle. He then entered the graveyard of the gods to cultivate. Most of the graveyard of the gods had been taken away by the Corpse Clan, leaving behind only a small portion in a deep pit with strands of sacred aura. Those who didn't understand the situation would think that this was an extraordinary graveyard of the gods. Yang Wu knew that this was the graveyard of the gods because Little Hei had told him about it. If Little Hei hadn't warned him, he would have taken away the graveyard of the gods. If that happened, not only would he not be able to cultivate the godly medicine, but the person who cultivated the godly medicine would also inexplicably lose their vitality and die. When Yang Wu stepped into the graveyard of the gods, the sacred aura touched his body and seeped into it. This aura seemed a little strange, but he couldn't tell what it was. Feel it carefully, and you'll understand what's going on. The graveyard of the gods is an excellent graveyard of the gods. It's worth taking some of it back. Little Hei's voice rang out in Yang Wu's ears. Yang Wu followed Little Hei's instructions and carefully sensed the sacred aura that seeped into him. Indeed, he discovered that this sacred aura was absorbing his vitality and feeding it back into the graveyard of the gods. This minute change wasn't easy to notice. Many creatures mistakenly entered the graveyard of the gods, and by the time they realized what was going on, their vitality would have been drained. Yang Wu quickly used his Xian Qi to stop the sacred aura from sucking him in. But his Xian Qi couldn't stop the sacred aura from sucking him in. His vitality was still draining away. Yang Wu shouted in shock, "Little He, little man, and I can't stay here any longer. We'll be sucked dry by the graveyard of the gods and die." If it were any other creature, they wouldn't be able to change this fact. You and little man are different. You cultivate immortal arts and can stop this power. Little Hay replied. After a pause, she said, "By the way, your immortality peach tree might be able to absorb this power. It'll be a great supplement for it." Yang Wu doubtfully tried to use the supreme 9 mysteries mantra to absorb the power. When the power entered his meridians, it still wanted to absorb his vitality. But when it was directed into his dantian, it was quickly purified into pure energy and strengthened his dantian. Not only that, but the immortality peach tree was just as Little Hay said. It could absorb the sacred aura, and it could absorb a lot of it. This time, Yang Wu was completely relieved. The graveyard of the gods is very hard, and the graveyard of the gods has graveyard of the gods. It can temper your body. Hurry up and start. Don't waste any more time. Little Hay's voice rang out again. Okay, I'll test just how hard this place is. Yang Wu nodded and shouted. He waved his arm and slammed it into the graveyard of the gods. Bang! Yang Wu's pure physical strength was very strong. Even a normal saint-level creature might not be able to withstand it. But when he swung his arm, he could not break the graveyard of the gods. Instead, more of the sacred aura entered his arm. This sacred aura was also known as the graveyard of the gods. It could absorb the vitality of all kinds of creatures. Whoever could understand this graveyard of the gods might be able to use this graveyard of the gods for themselves. But such creatures were very rare. Only the corpse race might have such an ability. It really is hard. Yang Wu shook his aching arm and sighed. He did not waste any more time. He madly used his arms to swing around. His feet would occasionally stomp on the ground. He was very barbaric and undisciplined in his cultivation. The prodigies had already seen Yang Wu's unique cultivation method, so they were not surprised. They began a new round of sparring. Little Man was also training her brute strength like Yang Wu. She threw punch after punch at the graveyard of the gods. The commotion she created was no weaker than Yang Wu's. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. Yang Wu and Little Man trained there for a total of 7 days. They sweated profusely as if they were doing manual labor. They looked very comical. They did not look like peak prodigies at all. 7 days later, Yang Wu finally felt a sliver of change in his innate talent. The graveyard of the gods had seeped into the innate talent acupoints of his arms and legs. The vortex of graveyard of the gods was much stronger than before. This power had not been absorbed by him. It had seeped in. After it seeped into his acupoints, not only was it unable to absorb his vitality, but it was also completely retained. Yang Wu was instantly overjoyed. He increased the intensity of his attacks on the graveyard of the gods. At the same time, he circulated the supreme 9 mysteries mantra to absorb more of the graveyard of the gods. He guided the graveyard of the gods into the innate talent acupoints of his arms and legs. The innate talent acupoints underwent a change. Innate divine powers were the power to unlock potential. The power that was unlocked was also divided into strong and weak. Yang Wu had always thought that innate divine powers would increase as his cultivation level increased. Later, after he activated the ultimate circulatory cycle and refined the innate power to the limit, he felt that this was the strongest manifestation of innate divine powers. Only now did he realize that this was not the case. Innate divine powers could break through the limit and enter the second stage of transformation. The first to undergo a change was the barbarian god's arms. The innate talent acupoints expanded several times, forming 2 vortex acupoints. They endlessly absorbed the graveyard of the gods and gained a unique power. Not only did his strength increase, but it also seemed to possess the characteristics of the graveyard of the gods. The graveyard of the gods could absorb vitality and was all-pervasive. Qi could not stop it. Only creatures like him, who cultivated immortal arts, could stop the graveyard of the gods from seeping in. The graveyard of the gods was not an aura of death. However, the two types of gas seemed to have similar characteristics. They could take away vitality. Yang Wu felt that there should be a difference between the two types of gas. The graveyard of the gods seemed to be able to absorb the vitality of others for its own use. If that was the case, then it was inconceivable. This was very similar to the evil star-sucking great technique in the legends. The only difference was that the vitality absorbed by the graveyard of the gods did not have any side effects. The star-sucking great technique absorbed the vitality of other creatures, but the side effects were great. Chapter 11:19. The Yongquan acupoint had also absorbed the god's burial qi and was several times stronger than before. Similarly, the wind god's leg had entered the second stage of evolution. It was still the wind god's leg, but it had an additional characteristic. This characteristic was different from the barbarian god's arm, which could devour other people's life force. Instead, it could sense the power of the earth. When activating the wind god's leg, as long as it touched the soil, it could borrow the earth's qi to increase its speed. This mysterious feeling was similar to when Yang Wu cultivated the water-suppressing stance. He could absorb water qi to increase the strength of his legs. Now, his wind god's leg could borrow earth qi to increase its strength. He could even condense some earth qi to fight. This was the benefit of the second stage. Yang Wu was ecstatic that both of his talents had increased. This greatly increased his battle strength. He was even more grateful to Little He. If Little He hadn't asked him to come here to train, he wouldn't have known that the god's burial soil could help him increase his talent level. Little Wu, now you understand my good intentions, Little He said to Yang Wu proudly. Yang Wu replied, "It's impossible not to understand. Little He, thank you. I'll find a few more bitches to serve you in the future." Woof woof. How could I be seduced by beauty? Back in the day, I was surrounded by many beautiful concubines. How could I be interested in ordinary goods? Then why did you take that bitch as your disciple? Didn't you take a fancy to her? What do you know? I only took her as my disciple because I saw that her talent was all right. I know. It's a master-disciple relationship. Yang Wu continued to absorb the god's burial soil as he bickered with Little He. He also began to collect the god's burial soil. Just as Little He had said, the god's burial soil had its own uses. As long as it was used properly, it was indeed a type of god's burial soil. Little Man also gained something. Her barbarian god aspect seemed to show signs of a breakthrough. The brute force it released was becoming more and more terrifying. With Little Man's current battle strength, a full-powered punch could easily kill any top prodigy. It was too overbearing. The barbarian race was one of the ancient war races. Even if the bloodline of the race was abandoned, once it was awakened, it would explode with unparalleled power. It was also at this moment that several teams rushed over from all directions. The first to arrive was a group of outsiders led by the two brothers, Dishang and Dmo. They were made up of all kinds of outsiders and were the most disorganized, but every single one of them had an extraordinary aura. The graveyard of the gods was very useful to the Jade Emperor race and the Stone race. They were prepared to take some back. However, they also knew that Yang Wu's team was there, so they were not in a hurry to start the battle. They would wait for the other teams to arrive before making a fuss. Big Brother, the one in the graveyard of the gods, is Yang Wu. Dmo and a creature that looked very similar to him stood in the air, pointing in the direction of Yang Wu as they spoke. Dishang looked at Yang Wu and said indifferently, "I don't see any difference between him and the other humans. Why can't even you take him down?" This creature exuded an aura of power. His amber eyes flowed with an invincible aura. There was no creature in the world that could make him afraid. Big Brother, you can't underestimate him. He has tempered a saint body and comprehended martial arts. I also suffered a bit at his hands, but I refined the dragon claw, Saint Stone. This time, I will personally tear him to pieces. DMO said with a sharp glint in his eyes. I will deal with this guy. You take care of the others. I will become an invincible emperor in this battle. Dishang said with a strong sense of confidence. The Devil Race's team had also arrived. They were led by the #1 expert on the Devil rankings, Siejuren. Siejuren came from the Nine-Eyed Devil Race. He had already opened 7 evil eyes. His demonic aura was incomparably dense, and each evil eye contained a terrifying lethality. When the Devil Race faced outsiders, they would always work together. Currently, Siejuren had gathered the most Devil Race members. There were more than 5,000 of them. They were the largest team. When humans saw them arrive, they all revealed looks of hatred. The Devil Race had always treated humans as food. The enmity between the two races was innate. They could not live under the same sky. The Dragon Palace's team had also arrived. However, the Great Palace Lord did not seem to be present. The one leading the team was the Young Palace Lord. They had also set up camp not far from Yangwu's team. The Spirit Demon Race's team did not appear. They should be on their way. Unless Fox Princess did not want to become an invincible emperor, she would appear sooner or later. In another direction, Shouho and Sun Qian had also arrived. The two of them were existences on the invincible rankings. The former was ranked 57th, while the latter was ranked in the top 10. They were monsters of the invincible rankings, second only to Dishang. When the two of them walked together, they looked like twin brothers. The only difference was that one carried a broken staff, while the other carried a halberd. The former kept a low profile, while the latter was incomparably arrogant. He walked with crab steps, as if he was afraid that no one would notice his existence. Please don't walk like that. I can't afford to lose face like this. Sun Do held his forehead, as if he did not know Sun Qian. What do you know? This is my style. Back in the day, many girls would throw themselves at me when they saw me. I'm not as useless as you are now. You can't even get a single girl. Sun Qian looked at Sun Do with disdain. Yeah, you beast. You won't even let off a Devil Race's little sister, Sun Do replied. Haha, you don't understand. A Devil Race's little sister is exciting. Much better than a human's little sister. Hardcore. Stay away from me. I don't know you. Cut the crap. Hurry up and get Yangwu to come see me. If I'm happy, I'll let him continue to be the invincible emperor. If he makes me unhappy, I'll teach him a lesson. I'll let him know that there's always someone better than him. My big brother can slap you to death with one hand. Sun Do led Sun Qian towards the Wuhou gang. Lu Ji went forward to greet them. Skinny monkey, over here. Beautiful military advisor, long time no see. Sun Do smiled as he went up to Lu Ji. Call me Chief Military Advisor. Lu Ji said with a straight face. Sun Do hooked his arm around Lu Ji's shoulder and said, All right, beautiful Chief Military Advisor. You must be doing well by Big Brother's side. Of course it's not bad, Lu Ji replied. After pausing for a moment, he said, You came at the right time. I'm practicing an array formation. I'm still lacking someone with your strength to hold the line. I'll make those devils unable to come and go. No rush. Let me see boss first. Sun Do let go of Lu Ji and flew towards Yangwu. Sun Qian glanced at the people from the Wuhou gang. In the end, his gaze landed on Little Man, who was with Yangwu in the Graveyard of the Gods. Seeing Little Man using brute force to attack the Graveyard of the Gods, his eyes lit up. Then he flew towards Little Man. Little Beauty, you're really exciting. This sovereign has taken a liking to you. Come with this sovereign and we'll eat and drink together. Sun Qian flew over and said excitedly. He had seen countless women of the highest quality, but it was rare to see a girl as pure and violent as Little Man. She was his type. Yangwu saw Shouho come over. He also saw someone similar to him charge towards Little Man. A sliver of displeasure appeared on his face. Before he could do anything, Shouho blocked Sun Qian and shouted, Don't even think about Little Man otherwise. Don't blame me for turning against you. You've gotten bold. Don't forget how you got to where you are today, Sun Qian replied. So what? Even without you, I wouldn't be any worse than I am now, Shouho replied forcefully. If it weren't for the fact that we share the same origin, I really would want to destroy you, Sun Qian said unhappily. He paused for a moment before continuing. I'm just chatting with this little beauty about life. I won't hurt her. What are you worrying about? Before Shoho could reply, little man walked over and asked, Big brother Sundo, what's wrong? Little man was very beautiful. She had an extremely pure aura. This kind of natural aura could only be compared to Qing Jing. She also had a body of brute strength. These two completely different auras merged together. Her charm was not inferior to that of a top-tier beauty. Many prodigies liked women like Little Man. There were many prodigies who had a crush on her. If it weren't for Yang Wu suppressing them, many of them would have already come to confess to her. Little sister, Little Man, it's nothing. This disgusting guy wants to chase you. I'll chase him away for you. Shoho replied with a smile. Shoho and Little Man had known each other for a long time in the mountain prison. The two of them were the first to follow Yang Wu. They were even more aware of Little Man's obsession with Yang Wu. It wasn't a relationship between a man and a woman, but it was even stronger than that. Just as Shoho and Sun Qian were arguing, Yang Wu walked over and stared at Sun Qian. You were the one who took Shoho away, right? When he reunited with Shoho, Shoho had roughly told him what had happened. Furthermore, Sun Qian and Shoho looked very similar. He immediately guessed that Sun Qian was a vicious spirit that he had encountered in the mortal world. That's right, it was me, Sun Qian replied in a very arrogant manner. Without waiting for him to finish his words, Yang Wu shouted, Release the dog. Woof woof. Little He barked cooperatively and pounced towards Sun Qian. How dare you? Sun Qian was a prince of the Saint Do tribe. His battle prowess was heaven-defying. After being reborn, he had regained much of his battle prowess. When he saw that Yang Wu had released a Little He to bite him, he felt that it was an insult. He had once been a mighty being at the pinnacle of the Saint stage. He had almost come into contact with the immortal ascension stage. This Little He's paw was so small, yet it dared to provoke him. It really didn't know what was good for it. Sun Qian's body surged with domineering power. He wanted to strangle Little He to death. Unexpectedly, Little He ignored his power and bit his shoulder. Little He's teeth were extremely sharp. They bit through Sun Qian's armor and pierced his shoulder. He screamed in pain. Sun Qian was furious. He wanted to slap Little He to death, but Little He quickly turned around and bit him in another direction. Sun Qian was in for a tragedy. There aren't many beings who can make me bite them. You monkey, you're lucky. I'm sorry, big brother. He's just acting like he's the best in the world. Shoho apologized to Yang Wu. It's fine. Little He will take care of him. I'm sure he'll behave himself. Yang Wu waved his hand. Then, he looked in another direction. Another group of people had arrived. The Phoenix Palace group had arrived. Chapter 11:20. The Phoenix Palace was no less numerous than the Marquis gang. Most of them were women, and Shi Mei and Yang Karen were among them. The leader was still the third princess of the Xianyuan clan, and there were two other vice commanders. One was Chao Jifei from the Pharmacist Alliance, and the other was the Xianyuan clan's monster, Xianyuan Changshao. Both of them were in the top 10 of the Heavenly Phoenix list and Heavenly Dragon list respectively, and were also in the Invincible list. Xianyuan Huwu was also in this group. She was the most popular one, overshadowing the third princess. Many people thought that she was the leader, but she didn't like to be the leader. Moreover, only the third princess could control her. She was the first on the Heavenly Phoenix list and ranked in the top 8 of the Invincible list. She was also the second human after Yang Wu to enter the top 10 of the Invincible list. Her victory rate was slightly higher than that of the Great Hall King, who was ranked 11th on the Invincible list. Chao Jifei was an empress, and Xianyuan Huwu was a fairy. The two women were like two stalks blooming at the same time, attracting many young men to join them. Not many dared to have any ideas about the two women, and could only have ideas about other beauties. Maybe they could even get a few one-night stands. After the people of the Phoenix Palace appeared, they immediately gathered towards the Marquis gang. Yu led the Marquis gang's people to welcome them. She rode on the purple Qilin, cupped her hands towards the third princess, and said, Greetings, Palace Master Xianyuan. The third princess was a very ordinary-looking woman, but she had an indescribable temperament. Even in front of Chao Jifei and Xianyuan Huwu, she wasn't overshadowed by their radiance. She smiled and returned the greeting, So it's purple firmament hall's little sister Yu. You're getting more and more beautiful. Palace Master Xin Yuan, you must be joking. You're also here to participate in the final battle, right? Before that, we should first unite together and face the outside world together. What do you think? Ziyue said appropriately. Yu is right. This time, my Phoenix Palace has come to meet with Saint Master Yongwu. Only by uniting will we have a chance. Xin Yuan, third princess, said. She paused for a moment before continuing. As far as I know, the devil race still has an even more powerful team assembled. They might want to catch us all in one fell swoop. Ziyu wiped away her worry and asked, Is this true? Third princess, Xin Yuan nodded seriously and said, Absolutely. What plans do you have here? I think we should join forces. Only then will we have a chance to stop the demon race's scheme. The merger is a good thing, but is your Phoenix Palace willing to lower your status and join our Martial Marquis gang? Suddenly, a loud voice rang out from the side. It's you who joined our Phoenix Palace. The person who spoke was the Vice Palace Master of the Phoenix Palace, Xinyuan Changshao. He had a sharp face, a golden crown on his head, a python robe on his body, and a golden belt on his waist. He sat on a two-headed earth dragon that was surrounded by dragon chi, giving off an oppressive aura. Try saying that again if you have the guts. Yangba walked out from behind Ziyu as he shouted. Ziyu waved her hand, indicating for Yangba to leave. She ignored Xinyuan Changshao and looked at the Xinyuan third princess as she said, Is this your idea? The Xinyuan third princess had a faint smile on her face as she said, Changshao's words are a bit rash, but the meaning is more or less the same. Martial Marquis, gang, joining our Phoenix Palace is the best choice. The Xinyuan third princess had become the Phoenix Palace Master, so she naturally had outstanding abilities. Don't look at her calm appearance. Her methods were actually quite fierce. Without waiting for Ziyu to turn hostile, the Xinyuan third princess once again said, Actually, it's not impossible for us to join the Martial Marquis gang, but we'll need your boss to come and talk to us. No need to talk. I don't need you to join. The domineering voice came from not far away. Yang Wu brought Shou Ho and Little Man over with large strides. Everyone in the Phoenix Palace looked at Yang Wu. Most of the women cried out in their hearts, so handsome. Yang Wu's appearance was not bad to begin with. As his strength continued to increase over the years, his physique continued to change. He obtained the innate embryo body and now had the sacred dragon body. His body had an incomparably outstanding aura. Sometimes he was like an immortal descending to the mortal world. Sometimes he was like a true dragon descending to the mortal world. He had an unparalleled appearance. With his appearance, any woman who saw him would fall in love with him. Most of them would feel inferior and wouldn't dare to have any improper thoughts. How could such a peerless man be possessed by an ordinary rouge or powder? Husband. Ziyu turned around and greeted Yang Wu. Meng Bingxue and Shu Yujun also walked out and accompanied Yang Wu. They all had a tacit understanding. Their goal was to make the women of the Phoenix Palace back off. They could see that the eyes of the women of the Phoenix Palace were shining, as if they wanted to push Yang Wu down. Boss, I finally get to see you again. A voice came from the Phoenix Palace. Immediately after, a figure ran towards Yang Wu. But before he could run in front of Yang Wu, there was a shadow of a foot that kicked towards his back. Bang! The person was kicked to the ground. He was in a very sorry state. Fortunately, the other party didn't want to kill him and only wanted to make a fool of him. Otherwise, this kick would have taken his life. The person crawled up again and shouted, My great aunt, please spare me. I won't dare to steal from boss again. Bang! Another kick came and sent the person flying in front of Yang Wu. Yang Wu reached out his hand and stabilized the person. He said, Meow Meow, what are you doing? This person was Meow Meow. He hugged Yang Wu and begged for mercy. His appearance was very pitiful. Boss, I won't do it again. I won't do it again. Please tell sister-in-law Huo Wu to let me go. Yang Wu scratched his head and said, What sister-in-law? What nonsense are you talking about? If you have nothing to do, go to the side. When Meow Meow wanted to say something, a charming voice came. You dare to talk nonsense. See if this princess doesn't tear your mouth apart. Yes, I won't talk nonsense again. I was wrong. Meow Meow broke down and replied. During this period of time, he had been living a very tragic life. A dignified little saint alchemist was only a servant in the Phoenix Palace. He was ordered around and didn't even have a place to complain. It was truly shameful. This was an unbearable past. However, he brought all of this upon himself. He actually went to court Xianyuan Huowu, a woman even more frightening than his eldest senior sister. He didn't dare to have any improper thoughts anymore. The more beautiful a woman was, the more he couldn't afford to offend her. All right, let's talk about serious matters. Saint Master Yang Wu, do you know that the demon race has gathered 10,000 people and is waiting for the final battle to end so that they can kill all of us in one fell swoop? The Xianyuan third princess looked at Yang Wu as she spoke. Her eyes were very special and contained a magical power when she looked at Yang Wu. It gave others an indescribable pressure, causing others to not dare to easily look at her directly. Yang Wu waved his hand and said, "Don't talk nonsense with me. Even if it's true, it doesn't matter. When the time comes, the demon race won't necessarily have an advantage. Who doesn't have a way to escape? Moreover, it's even better if they come." Then he looked at Xianyuan third princess and said, "If you really care about everyone, then set up camp nearby. When everyone is almost here, then we can discuss the final battle. In any case, there isn't much time left. I don't have time to waste on these things." Yang Wu, what kind of attitude is this? How dare you speak to our palace master like this? Xianyuan Changshao sat on the back of the three-headed dragon and shouted at Yang Wu. "Cut the crap. If you want to fight, then let's fight." Yang Wu replied in an extremely domineering manner. "All right, let me see how powerful an invincible emperor like you is," Xianyuan Changshao replied and charged at Yang Wu with his battle weapon. "You don't have the qualifications to make my brother fight. I, Sun Do, will fight you." Shouho rushed out and directly faced Xianyuan Changshao. The two of them instantly engaged in a fierce battle. Xianyuan third princess didn't say anything to stop them. Yang Wu was too lazy to say anything. He waved his hand at the people around him and told them to return to their camp. He didn't want to cause trouble, but he wasn't afraid of causing trouble either. Moreover, he was an invincible emperor now. If he was frightened by Xianyuan third princess's aura, wouldn't his reputation be tarnished? "Big brother Yang Wu, are you going to leave just like that?" A lovely and moving voice rang out. Yang Wu instantly had goosebumps. He didn't need to turn around to know who spoke. The expressions of the three women beside Yang Wu turned ugly. "Boss, hurry up and pacify sister-in-law Huo Wu," Meow Meow whispered from the side. "No one will think you're mute if you don't speak." Yang Wu glared at Meow Meow. Then he turned around and said to Xianyuan Huo Wu, "Your Highness, it's better if you call me by my name. Don't cause any misunderstandings." "What? You heartless man. You don't want to admit what you did in the God of War Pagoda? I misjudged you." Xianyuan Huo Wu, who was riding on a fire phoenix, revealed a heartbreaking expression. She was originally a fairy in the hearts of all men, but now she looked like an abandoned girl. Anyone who saw her would feel their heartache. "Yang Wu, I want to challenge you." From the Phoenix Palace's side, a male proud son of heaven flew out, thrusting his sword straight towards Yang Wu. This guy's guts weren't ordinary. He actually dared to challenge the invincible Emperor Yang Wu. "You're not qualified." Yang Ba walked out from beside Yang Wu. His hand turned into an axe as he furiously chopped at the prodigy. The sword aura was shocking, and the axe light was domineering. Both of them were first-rate prodigies. Their combat strength wasn't to be underestimated. No wonder that guy from the Phoenix Palace dared to challenge Yang Wu. He had some skills. "Yang Wu, if you have the guts, come out and fight me. Even if I lose to you, I will accept it. However, you have hurt my goddess. I will not let you go." Another man, who had his own wishful thinking, came out and said. Su Zhu didn't want to fall behind Yang Ba. He took a step forward and glared at that prodigy. "Get over here. You're mine." Thus, two more people started fighting. The battle hadn't started yet, but the human race was already in an uproar. "Yang Wu, shouldn't we discuss our marriage?" Chao Jifei, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke. Chapter 1121. When Yang Wu heard Chao Jifei's words, he almost spat out a mouthful of blood. He wouldn't mind teasing this peerless empress if Yu, Meng Bingxue, and Shu Yujun weren't by his side. However, the three of them were by his side. He wouldn't dare to tease Chao Jifei, even if he had the guts to do so. Not to mention, there was also Xianyuan Huowu. Moreover, Chao Jifei's words were too lethal. What did she mean by our marriage? When did the two of them reach the point where they were talking about marriage? Boss is indeed boss. I know that senior sister is a person who accepts defeat. She also likes you. Boss, just give in. Miao Miao patted Yang Wu's shoulder and sighed. Miao Miao felt as if his heart had been pierced by thousands of arrows in an instant. Countless murderous gazes were fixed on him. He was so scared that he kept retreating. I didn't say anything. Then, he quickly retreated to the back of the crowd and didn't dare to speak again. Yang Wu, you're too shameless. I want to challenge you. Yang Wu, so what if you're the invincible emperor? How can you monopolize Fairy Huowu and Empress Ji Fei? I want to fight with you. My heart hurts. Goddamned Yang Wu, you've snatched away the goddesses in my heart. I knew it would be like this. Both of them are saint alchemists and are so outstanding. They are indeed a match made in heaven. I can't accept this. Many heaven's prides were filled with righteous indignation. They looked as if they were going to risk their lives to fight with Yang Wu. However, not many people dare to move. Yang Wu wasn't called the invincible emperor for nothing. Yang Wu was too lazy to explain. He braced himself and looked at Chao Jifei while being stared at by Yu, Meng Bingxue, and Shu Yujun, and said, Miss Zhao, we haven't reached this step yet. Please don't harm me. I, Chao Jifei, am not a petty person who goes back on her words. Since I've already lost to you, I'm willing to be your woman. Moreover, your conditions are very much in line with the image in my heart. It's too late, even if you regret it. Chao Jifei said with a charming smile. Moreover, she cast a provocative look at Zi and Yu. She had always been the high and mighty empress, able to suppress the spirit of all men and women of her generation, and now was no exception. Yang Wu wasn't just a top-tier saint alchemist. He could also become this year's invincible emperor. He was the most outstanding person in the younger generation. If she didn't even like him, then she was destined to be lonely for the rest of her life. Even though she could see that the three women by Yang Wu's side had a close relationship with Yang Wu, so what? She, Chao Jifei, was never afraid of a challenge. Shu Yujun couldn't help but say, I've seen many shameless women, but I've never seen one as shameless as you. You're the eldest miss of Mount Hung, right? Be careful. I can have the Apothecary Union stop supplying Mount Hung with pills at any time. I can even seal off your source of pills, Chao Jifei said domineeringly to Shu Yujun. You dare. Shu Yujun was instantly enraged. She didn't expect Chao Jifei's response to be so sharp. If the Apothecary Union really sealed off all of Mount Heng's pills, then the Mount Heng sect would face a decline. The consequences were not something she could bear. There's nothing in this world that I don't dare to do, Chao Jifei said proudly. Indeed, her master was the most powerful apothecary in the transcendent realm. Although the Apothecary Union was a neutral organization, its rallying power was incomparably terrifying. It was more frightening than any other major power. Perhaps only a mysterious organization like the Divine Divination House could contend against it. Enough! Yang Wu was furious. He didn't want to be angry with women, but with so many people watching, how embarrassing was this? He didn't have the leisure to quarrel with them. After he released his tyrannical aura, Chao Jifei, Shu Yujun, and Xianyuan Huowu jumped in fright. All this time, Yang Wu had been very polite and kind to them. His sudden anger really scared them. Ziyu said softly, All right, don't make Wu angry. If there's anything, let's settle it after this. Yang Wu was in a bad mood, but after hearing Ziyu's words, he calmed down a bit. Then he looked at Chao Jifei and said, Take back what you just said to threaten the Mount Heng sect. You and I are still friends. After saying this, he ignored Chao Jifei, who was fuming with anger, and turned to walk in the direction of the demons. Everyone was stunned. Was Yang Wu about to start a war? Xie Jiren was the leader of the demons. One of his demonic eyes flashed with a strange light as he stared at the approaching Yang Wu and said coldly, "You want to start a war? You demons should all be killed." After Yang Wu said coldly, he attacked the demons without any warning. Originally, he also wanted to wait for all the teams to arrive, then discuss how to decide the final invincible emperor, but because of the women, he was extremely irritated. He needed to vent, and the devil race was naturally the best target to vent. Apart from this, he also wanted to disrupt the demons' plans. He wanted to destroy this demon team in the shortest time possible so that he wouldn't have to be afraid of the demons that would arrive later. Yang Wu, if you want to reincarnate early, I'll fulfill your wish. Kill him for me. Xia Jiren ordered. In the next moment, the demons in the front row attacked Yang Wu one after another. On Wu Ho Gang's side, Ziyu ordered without hesitation, kill the demons first. Thus, Wu Ho Gang's team majestically charged towards the demons. Sister, should we make a move? Xianyuan Hou asked her sister, the third princess. Too impulsive. How can such a person be a suitable leader? Xianyuan, third princess, didn't answer the question and said, "We can't make a move. Keep an eye on the other races and don't let them reap the benefits." Xianyuan, third princess, was disappointed with Yang Wu's actions. She felt that he was completely a reckless person. There were teams from all sides in front of them. The team that started the battle early would be at a disadvantage, and the other teams that didn't start the battle would reap the benefits. Was Yang Wu really so impulsive? He did so because he had absolute confidence. During this period of time, he had been tempering his barbarian god's arms and wind god's legs. These two innate skills had reached the second stage, and his battle prowess had increased. Moreover, he also had the innate martial weapon, the Phoenix Feather Fan. He was confident that he could fight an army of thousands by himself. Yang Wu borrowed the power of the second stage of the wind god's legs. His speed was extremely fast. Even a saint of the 6th level Star Rune realm couldn't compare to him. He rushed forward with extreme speed and approached the demons with lightning speed. He immediately fanned the Phoenix Feather Fan. Pung pung. The raging flames condensed into a huge fire phoenix. The phoenix spread its wings and quickly burned the front into a sea of fire. The demons at the front were all shocked and hurriedly dodged. The formation was completely messed up. Some demons couldn't escape in time and were immediately burned to ashes. The power of the Phoenix Feather Fan was too strong. Only innate martial weapons could resist it. Yang Wu disrupted the demon's attack with one move. The ice wing blades quickly rushed out. The formless ice wing blades spread out. The two blades were more than 100 meters long. They swept out from left and right, instantly killing dozens of demons who couldn't react in time. This kind of horrifying destructive power truly frightened the fiends badly. Xiejiren was extremely angry. He roared, "Please summon the demon saint weapon and form a demon formation. Don't panic. Kill him together." At the same time, a strange power shot out from one of his eyes. That was actually a demonic saint weapon, and it was actually being nurtured in his evil eye. It was truly terrifying. This was an evil eye blade, a top-grade demon weapon. It was Xiejiren's natal demon weapon. Its power was comparable to innate martial weapons. The evil eye blade slashed at Yang Wu. The power of the blade, which was thousands of meters long, cut through the air. Its power was incomparably sharp and terrifying. Before the attack could hit Yang Wu, Ziyu's mount, Ziqilin, was the first to spit out a bolt of purple thundercloud. It blasted the evil eye blade and scattered the power of the attack. Roar! Ziqilin's fighting power was even stronger than Ziyu's. It was the kind of top-grade spirit demon that could break through the demon's saint rank at any time. Its fighting talent was also not inferior to any of the peerless monsters here. Ziyu wanted to quickly get close to Yang Wu and form an electromagnetic field with him. But looking at Yang Wu's posture, it seemed that he wanted to kill the demons in front of him alone. She gave up on this idea and went to kill the demons in the other direction. 7 points formation. The 7 heroes of Wudang also rushed out. 7 powerful sword chi soared into the sky, carrying a powerful force as they went straight for the blood-devouring demons. Blood-devouring demons could obtain fighting power that surpassed a minor demon saint by fusing with their companions. They were extremely difficult to deal with. One of them was the blood-devouring demon prince, a demon that was second only to Siejurin. He had fused with the bodies of dozens of his companions. His fighting power had reached the level of a mid-level demon saint, showing an invincible might. The 7 heroes of Wu Dang specialized in fighting tough characters. Their 7 points formation had the power to kill the blood-devouring demons. Formation kill. Lu Ji waved a battle flag and shouted at the people of Wu Dang. In the past half a year, Lu Ji had found some geniuses to practice his formation Dao. He had set up a powerful battle formation that could greatly increase the lethality of these geniuses. After those geniuses tasted the sweetness, they also admired Lu Ji's ability to set up formations and were willing to listen to his commands. Shou Ho, who had just fought with Xianyuan Changshao, also changed his battlefield and attacked the demons. Yang Ba, Su Zhu, and the others were not willing to fall behind. They also attacked the demons. Everyone did not understand why Yang Wu suddenly attacked. The people of Dragon Palace Hall, Phoenix Palace Hall, and the other races did not move. They stared at the battlefield, waiting for the end of this battle. Yang Wu is really an idiot. The young palace lord of Dragon Palace Hall stared at the battlefield and cursed. The young palace lord was about the same age as Yang Wu. He had already reached the peak of the dragon transformation realm. His talent was really powerful. He is indeed an idiot. He started the battle in advance. His invincible emperor is about to change hands. The people beside him echoed. The invincible emperor is definitely my big brother, the young palace lord said with certainty. Chapter 1122. Before entering the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, Yang Wu's goal was to become the Dragon Emperor on the Heavenly Dragon ranking. Later on, he raised his goal and changed it to become the Invincible Emperor. He was only in his 20s, not even 30 years old. It was the time when he was full of vigor. On the stage where all the prodigies of the transcendent realm gathered, if he did not work hard, he would have participated in this battle between the dragons and the phoenixes in vain. He was not a particularly impulsive person. This time, he suddenly attacked the devils not only because Chao Jifei had affected his mood, but also because Little Hay had played the most crucial role. As the Invincible Emperor, you must have an indomitable aura and fight with your strongest battle strength. You must not rely on your ability to fight in a team battle to be the best. In this place filled with the aura of the Divine Tomb, if you don't know how to make good use of it, it will be a great waste. Before Yang Wu attacked the devils, Little Hay secretly sent a message to Yang Wu. Only then did Yang Wu take the opportunity to attack the devils. Little Hay hoped that he would become the kind of invincible expert who could kill gods and devils. He also hoped that he would have such an ability. He might as well start the battle in advance. It would disrupt the deployment of the devils and the other teams, making it difficult for others to figure out what he was trying to do. If it were other living beings, they would not dare to be as domineering as Yang Wu. Facing so many enemies, it was especially easy to exhaust one's battle strength. Moreover, the environment here was very bad. It was very difficult to replenish one's celestial qi. Yang Wu was naturally not someone who others could compare to. His supreme 9 mysteries technique was definitely the fastest to absorb energy from the outside world. No matter how thin the celestial qi here was, it could still provide him with a lot of replenishment. Moreover, he was a saint apothecary and did not lack qi replenishing pills. These were all things that he relied on. Yang Wu did not show any mercy when he attacked. The Phoenix Feather Fan and the Ice Wing Blade attacked at the same time. Nearly 100 devils were killed by him. This speed of killing was really too fast. It was not that the devils did not have other experts. Otherwise, they would not have made the prodigies of the other races afraid. One of the devil race creatures spat out a terrifying demonic bead. It was called the fire-suppressing demonic bead, and it had the same effect as the fire-devouring strange bead. It could weaken the Phoenix Feather Fan's firepower. Another demon took out his devil bell. The devil bell's ringing could create a terrifying devil sound that could attack one's soul making it difficult to defend against. The scariest thing was the demonic umbrella taken out by one of the demons. This should be an innate demonic weapon. When the demonic umbrella was opened, countless demonic arrows were shot out, instantly killing many of the Wu Ho Gang's geniuses. These were the powerful means of the demon race, and the reason why they were not afraid of any other race. Fortunately, Yang Wu was not the only one who had an innate weapon. Yu also had one. She took out a purple gourd, and endless innate lightning struck the demonic umbrella, blocking its power. In addition, there was another person who had an innate weapon. That was Little Man. These days, Little Hay had taken her into various dangerous places to temper herself. She had obtained an innate warhammer. This warhammer looked very small, but it weighed over 10,000 gene. Little Man had innate runes flowing on its surface, and it emitted an astonishing innate might. This was a warhammer with a murderous nature, and it was called the Golden Hammer by Little Man. Every innate weapon had a special characteristic. For example, the Phoenix Feather Fan could greatly increase the power of true fire. The demonic umbrella of the demon race had the power to turn arrows into arrows. Little Man's golden hammer contained boundless gravity and murderous intent. Little Man's brute strength was already astonishing, and with the addition of this golden hammer, her battle prowess was even more frightening. Every time the hammer fell, dozens of demons would be smashed into meat paste. No demonic power could stop her. This was Little Man's true battle prowess. If her young master hadn't taken the initiative to kill the demons, she wouldn't have acted like this. She didn't want her young master to be in danger. The chaotic battle between the Wu Ho Gang and the demon race began. The other creatures didn't think too highly of Yang Wu, nor did they think the Wu Ho Gang would win. But when the battle began, the demon race fell into a disadvantageous position, which shocked the other creatures. Yang Wu was too ferocious. When his Phoenix Feather Fan resisted the fire-calming demonic pearl, he also threw out the fire-devouring abnormal pearl. It just so happened to be able to restrain the flame candle demons' firepower, weakening their power. He charged into the midst of the demons and completely unleashed the power of the second stage of his barbarian god's arm and wind god leg. Every swing of the barbarian god's arm was like a several thousand-meter-long whip. It even drew upon the god's burial chi in the area, faintly adding a sacred aura. When the surging demonic chi touched the god's burial chi, it quickly seeped through and landed directly on the demons. The weaker demons were crushed to death by the god's arm's power. The stronger demons were able to block the god's arm's power, but they were still injured. The god's burial chi took advantage of this opportunity to seep in and absorb their life force. This life force could be completely transformed into Yang Wu's life force, but he hadn't comprehended this profound mystery yet. The god's burial chi's ability to absorb life force was different from that of death chi. The god's burial chi sucked away life force, while the death chi directly corroded life force. They achieved the same effect. Under this effect, coupled with the power of the way of death, the demon's life force flowed away even faster. They quickly felt their life force drain away, and their lifespans were greatly reduced. Their battle prowess was also affected. In this situation, Yang Wu became more and more courageous as he fought. He no longer limited himself to swinging his arms. He directly used the barbarian fist. Numerous figures of savage beasts appeared on his body, and his extremely domineering fists contained the power of the way of the fist. They bombarded the demons. Yang Wu had displayed his invincibility, but that didn't mean that the Devil Clan's creatures could only be beaten. Several powerful Devil Clan's creatures rushed to the front and joined forces to kill Yang Wu. The 8-armed demonic Ape Clan's creature slashed at Yang Wu with its 8 demonic weapons. The power of each demonic weapon was comparable to the attack of a peak beginner saint. The Dream God controlled the 9 saint-level puppets to attack. The thunder-devouring demon wielded a top-level demonic saint weapon and unleashed a top-level demonic art. He created a shocking destructive power that blasted toward Yang Wu. These devil race creatures were too powerful. Any one of them was no weaker than the top geniuses of the human race. They were even more terrifying than the combined forces of Kuan Mingzi, Xingyu, Zihong, and Zhuxihan. The other demon race beings all went to deal with Wu Ho Gang, giving the top-level demon race beings time to kill Yangwu. Yangwu's black hair fluttered. His eyes were like lightning, and his battle intense sword. He was like an invincible god of war as he clashed with the demons. His gaze first landed on the dream god. The 8 saint-level puppets, controlled by the dream god, gave him the most pressure. As long as he killed the dream god, the 8 puppets would naturally be destroyed. The dream god didn't charge to the front. Instead, he stayed at the back and retracted his demonic chi. It was difficult to sense his aura. If it weren't for Yang Wu's outstanding soul, he wouldn't have noticed him. Yang Wu didn't hesitate to use his battle soul to attack the dream god. Yang Wu's battle soul was extraordinary. It wasn't any weaker than his true body. When he appeared, the dream god sensed it. Such pure soul power. The dream god loved to devour all kinds of soul power to increase his strength. The dream god that could enter the dragon phoenix abyss had extraordinary soul power. He couldn't wait to transform into his battle body and devour Yang Wu's battle soul. Soul devouring. The dream god opened his mouth and created a powerful suction force. This was a talent that specialized in devouring soul power. Yang Wu's battle soul was involuntarily sucked in. You dare to use soul power in front of me? You're courting death. The dream god sneered. When Yang Wu's battle soul got close to him, his soul power suddenly surged. A soul fist was thrown at the dream god. The soul control sutra was passed down to Yang Wu by Little Hay. It was the highest cultivation method of the soul tribe. Yang Wu had condensed his battle soul and had the ability to fight. His astral soul wasn't as simple as the divine will avatar of a saint-level creature. The divine will avatar of a saint-level creature was formed by a strand of divine soul power. It had 1/10 of the saint-level creature's strength. It was like an imperial edict. How could it compare to Yang Wu's battle soul? Yang Wu's battle soul was sucked in. The suction force didn't affect him much. He took advantage of the opportunity to get close to the dream god and attack. The dream god didn't expect Yang Wu's battle soul to be so strong. He couldn't dodge in time and was hit by Yang Wu's soul fist. His soul body almost exploded. The dream god was best at soul battles. Even he couldn't block the power of Yang Wu's battle soul. Yang Wu's battle soul was stronger than the dream god's soul power. Yang Wu didn't give the dream god a second chance. His soul fist was thrown at him again. This time, the dream god had learned his lesson. He quickly took out a demonic shield to block Yang Wu's soul fist. This was a demonic weapon that could defend against soul power attacks. Yang Wu didn't care. He continued to punch, wanted to kill the dream god in one go. The longer this dragged on, the more disadvantageous it would be for him. There was more than one dream god. If the dream god got close, his battle soul might not be able to handle it. The dream god had many trump cards. Aside from a demonic shield, he also took out a demonic whip. This was a saint weapon that could also damage soul power. He wanted to harvest Yang Wu's battle soul. Yang Wu saw the dream god take out these battle weapons and immediately understood where his weakness was. He didn't have a suitable soul weapon. If he had a soul weapon, his soul power attacks would be stronger. Fortunately, Yang Wu's battle soul could completely suppress the dream god. Even with a demonic weapon, the dream god was still no match for Yang Wu. His soul power was about to collapse. Come save me. The dream god didn't dare to fight anymore. He quickly retreated and called for help from the other demon race beings. Yang Wu didn't want the dream god to escape. He steeled his heart and activated the divine court Dao flower. He poured more soul power into the battle soul. The battle soul's soul power increased once again. A destructive fist light crashed into the dream god like a meteor. Bang! Such a domineering attack sent the dream god's demonic shield flying. The fist light directly penetrated the dream god's soul body. After the dream god's soul body was destroyed, his demon body instantly collapsed, and he died on the spot. As he died unwillingly, The 9 saint-level puppets immediately stopped. Yang Wu didn't hesitate to put away the 2 demon saint weapons and the 9 saint puppets. Chapter 1123. Yang Wu's battle soul was fighting, and so was his physical body. The bloodline power in his body was boiling. Ever since he came out of the God of War pagoda, his battle blood talent had fused with every part of his body. He could use his most powerful battle blood talent to fight at any time. In fact, he had not yet pushed his battle blood talent to the limit. This was the same as the barbarian god's arms and wind god's legs talents. There was still room for improvement. This room for improvement was the limit of his bloodline power. His battle blood talent had reached the level of Black Tortoise Doppelganger, but he had only scratched the surface. If he really wanted to create a doppelganger, his combat power would not be that strong. At this moment, under the siege of so many demons, his Black Tortoise Doppelganger appeared. In the blink of an eye, 3 Yang Wu appeared at the same time and attacked the demons in 3 different directions. Barbarian Bull Fist, Barbarian Horse Fist, Barbarian Tiger Fist. Every Yang Wu used a different move, but the power was almost the same. The demons' bodies exploded, and they were completely unable to block the attacks of his doppelganger. Yang Wu became more and more powerful as he fought. From the initial 3 doppelganger, it became 5 doppelganger, and then 7 doppelganger. Each doppelganger's combat power was almost the same. It was really domineering and powerful. Yang Wu was completely immersed in the battle of his doppelganger. This was his understanding of the Yang family's ancestors' consciousness. His battle blood talent contained endless fighting spirit. He had to use this fighting spirit to improve his battle blood talent. This was the so-called, the more he fought, the braver he became. In the past, Yang Wu would accept challenges passively and not take the initiative to cause trouble. Now he chose to take the initiative to attack. Facing so many demons in such an environment, he thirsted for battle. It was as if he had returned to the 10 years in the God of War pagoda. He fought with a true invincible will. Only then could he be considered to have truly integrated with the bloodline power of the Black Tortoise Doppelganger stage. The 8 arms demon Ape's 8 saint weapons were actually shattered by a single punch from Yang Wu. His fist pierced straight through the ape's tough chest. Yang Wu's other doppelganger ignored the firepower spewed out by the corroding flame demon. Countless punches landed on the corroding flame demon's body from all directions. The corroding flame demon's body exploded, unable to withstand the power of Yang Wu's punches. They were too fast and too fierce. The thunder-devouring demon's mortal body was the strongest. He had been devouring demon lightning for a long time, and his mortal body was comparable to a demon saint's. His battle with Yang Wu's true body was the fiercest. Every punch he threw out was imbued with the power of demon lightning. This lightning-devouring devil was definitely not inferior to Xiejiren. He was also one of the top 10 rankers on the devil rankings. If it was any other living being facing him, they would definitely be reduced to a bloody pulp. Unfortunately, his opponent was Yang Wu. Yang Wu wasn't afraid of the power of demon lightning. This type of demon lightning was also a mutated type of heavenly lightning. It was comparable to the golden snake heavenly lightning. Yang Wu would frequently strike down lightning of this level when he was refining the saint pills. Such power wasn't enough to pose much of a threat to him. Yang Wu's Black Tortoise battle armor floated. The 8 trigrams formation's defense was able to dissipate the majority of the lightning-devouring demon's attacks. His barbarian fists were imbued with dense god burial chi as they landed on the lightning-devouring demon's body. The destructive power was gradually increasing. Other than Yang Wu's battle blood increasing the power of his punches, the god burial chi was the biggest reason. The god burial chi was also a type of god burial chi. Not only could it absorb life force, it could also erupt with extraordinary power. As Yang Wu drew in more and more god burial chi, the power released from the acupoints on the barbarian god's arm grew stronger and stronger. Even heaven and earth paled in comparison. Bang bang. The powerful lightning-devouring demon's demon armor exploded. Its huge body was sent flying while spitting out blood. Without waiting for the lightning-devouring demon to stand up, Yang Wu rushed over. His wind god's leg carried boundless god burial chi as he kicked the lightning-devouring demon's body. The lightning-devouring demon's demon saint body was completely destroyed. The power of Yang Wu's other clones arrived as well. The remaining power merged with his true body once again. At this time, the top-tier demons around Yang Wu were all killed. Yang Wu's battle power was greatly depleted, but he didn't care at all. The god burial chi here had been mobilized by him. He had already saved a lot of energy. The Qian Kuan space in his body quickly took out pills to refine. In an instant, all of his energy was restored. Kill all the demons. Yang Wu didn't stop. With a long roar, he threw himself into the midst of the demons again. He took out the two blades, three-dragon spear, and the phoenix profound sword and started killing left and right. After the two blades, three-dragon spears, and the mysterious phoenix sword had leveled up, together with his battle skills, their destructive power was extremely strong. Ordinary demon, saint armors could not withstand it at all. Once they were hit, they would be destroyed immediately, and the demon race creatures would be killed one by one. After he killed the lightning-devouring demon, the phoenix feather fan burned the quelling demon pearl. Under the control of Lan Yaoji, the phoenix feather fan flew toward the demons angrily. True fire surged from the fan. Many demons didn't even have a chance to escape before they were burned to ashes. Yang Wu was like a wolf in a flock of sheep. Those demons that were strong in the eyes of others were killed by him. It was very difficult for them to form a threat. The devil race's living beings were frightened by the slaughter. After Xie was entangled by Zi Qilin, it was very difficult for him to escape. When he wanted to escape, a lightning force suddenly appeared behind him, almost cutting him in half. Fortunately, he opened all 7 eyes and saw Ziyu wearing the illusory saint robe. Otherwise, he would have been dead. Ah, you forced me to do this. I want you all to die. Xie was the demon-level genius ranked first on the devil rankings. He possessed invincible innate techniques, or he wouldn't be able to command so many powerful devils. With a roar, all the devil blood converged towards the 8th eye. In an instant, 8 blood-colored eyes appeared as 8 streams of demonic chi enveloped this entire space. 8 terrifying waves of energy gushed towards the geniuses of the Martial Marquis gang. The Blood Evil Blade. If Xie wanted to open all 8 eyes, he would have to at least reach the pinnacle of the saint realm. Xie was only a pinnacle minor demon saint. To forcefully open all 8 eyes, he had to burn his essence blood and use his lifespan as the price. The 8 blood evil blades were incomparably huge. They were like the blades of a pinnacle demon saint. Any one of them could easily kill a large number of Martial Marquis gang's prodigies. Not good. After Yang Wu sensed Xie desperation, he revealed a worried expression. He didn't want the others to be killed by Xie's attack. However, this move was too overbearing. It was impossible for him to completely seal it. He couldn't care less. He used all his strength to activate the Ice Wing Blade and slashed at the 9-eyed demon. In addition, he also opened his soul eye. Soul light shot out like arrows towards Xie's demon eye. He felt that this wasn't enough. Black Tortoise's doppelganger appeared again and attacked the blood evil blade. Ziyu and Zi Qilin were the closest to Xie, so they felt the most pressure. They worked together and formed an electromagnetic field. Boundless purple thunder clouds blasted towards Xie. The blood evil blade was too powerful. It broke through the electromagnetic field and severely injured Ziyu and Zi Qilin. If it wasn't for their top-tier defense, they would have died without a doubt. A dozen Martial Marquis gang prodigies nearby were killed by one of the blades. Even the Imperial Decree couldn't stop it. In another direction, another blade killed another dozen spirit beasts brought by Yang Jinlong. The slaughter was still ongoing. Yang Wu used his doppelganger to block the 5 blades. But it only lasted for a few dozen breaths before it was destroyed by the power of the blades. This was enough for Yang Wu. He summoned the Phoenix Feather Fan back and wildly fanned it at Xie. He roared, "Everyone back off. Don't come near here." Pung pung. Yang Wu activated the Phoenix Feather Fan with all his might. The explosion of firepower was very powerful, and it finally suppressed the slaughter of the blades. 2 of the blades were destroyed by the firepower, but there were still 6 left. They took the lives of nearly 100 Martial Marquis gang prodigies. Fortunately, Sun Qian also blocked one of the blades. This guy's battle power was not simple. Skinny Monkey also blocked a blade. Wudong's 7th Sword, Mo Wudi, also blocked a blade. Ziyu's Khanate Gourd also blocked a blade. There were still 2 left that no one could block. Song Qing, Zhang Mingshan, and the others were about to intercept them when a fiery figure rushed over. A light mirror flashed and reflected the power of the 2 blades back at the demons. Pu. The Blood Evil Blade's power was terrifying. It was at least enough to kill a peak mid-level saint. It wasn't something that anyone could block. The sudden appearance of the fiery figure not only blocked 2 of the Blood Evil Blades, but also heavily injured the demons. It was a great help. After everyone saw the person clearly, they discovered that it was Xianyuan Huowu from the Phoenix Palace. Her beautiful face, exquisite and perfect figure, every part of her was just right. Any man who saw her would feel their heart palpitate with eagerness. She held an ancient mirror in her hand, and it was this mirror that reflected the power of the Blood Evil Blades. After Xianyuan Huowu made her move, Xiejiren's power quickly shrank. The other blade's power instantly collapsed and no longer had any lethality. "I'll remember you." Xiejiren let out an unwilling voice. He wanted to tear apart the power of the demon Saint Decree and escape. But before he could do so, a purple gourd flew over and struck him with lightning power, turning him into ashes. This was Ziyu's Khanate Gourd. After Xiejiren was killed, the rest of the demons frantically retreated. Who would have thought that the non-human beings would suddenly charge towards the devil race? There were only a little more than 1,000 demons left. Moreover, they were all scared out of their wits and were killed by the other races. They really know how to take advantage of others. Xianyuan Huowu frowned and muttered. In the next moment, she also attacked with the demon-revealing mirror. Her reputation as the Emperor Phoenix didn't come out of nowhere. At the same time, the Fox King, First Palace King, Jin Xiao, Jiang Ping, and the other top monsters of the spirit demon race arrived. Chapter 1124. The battle between the dragons and the phoenixes was held once every 50 years. It was mainly to determine the ruler of the younger generation. Apart from that, the ruler of the younger generation was also determined. The ruler of each race was only limited to their own race's reputation. If it was an invincible ruler, it meant that they had suppressed the prodigies of each race. The significance of the two was completely different. Every time, as long as the invincible ruler didn't die early, they would become one of the ultimate overlords. Therefore, to the top prodigies of each race, this title was extremely important. No one would easily give it to someone else. Following the defeat of the demon race's creatures by Wuho Gang's people, Yang Wu's victory count had already exceeded 5,000. This kind of victory count was already unrivaled in the past. There was absolutely no room for exaggeration. However, this generation was definitely the most intense in the past 1,000 years. There were the most monstrous geniuses in this generation. 5,000 victories might not be enough to make him the ultimate ruler. The top prodigies of the human race, spirit demons, and foreign races had all gathered together. Only the demons had been eliminated early. Yang Wu sensed people rushing over from all directions, so he quickly absorbed the heaven and earth mystic qi and God's tomb qi. He even refined pills to replenish his energy to speed up his recovery. He did not want to fail miserably at the last moment. The people of the Martial Marquis gang gathered around Yang Wu to prevent others from suddenly attacking Yang Wu. Yang Wu had just slaughtered many demons, including those at the top of the demon rankings. His condition had deteriorated. For other creatures, this was the best time to challenge him. "My good junior brother, you're quite strong. You actually killed so many demons." Jiang Ping flew over and looked at Yang Wu with a smile. This guy was quite good-looking, but his smile was very wretched. He looked like he deserved a beating. However, there weren't many people here who could beat Jiang Ping. He had once occupied the first place of the Heavenly Dragon rankings. Now, his ranking wasn't low. He was only second to Yang Wu and the First Hall King. He was ranked third on the Heavenly Dragon rankings and 15th on the Invincible rankings. When the human prodigies heard Jiang Ping call Yang Wu junior brother, they looked at Yang Wu in a different light. Jiang Ping's reputation was in tatters, and it was unknown how many women he had harmed. Many people from various forces wanted to kill him like a rat crossing the street. If Yang Wu was really Jiang Ping's junior brother, then Yang Wu would definitely be classified as the same type of person. Yang Wu looked up at Jiang Ping and said faintly, "Don't say that. I don't know you." Haha, you'll get used to it soon. The Invincible Emperor is mine for sure. Why don't we get intimate first? Jiang Ping laughed wildly. In fact, Yang Wu was the only disciple of the Heavenly Palace. Jiang Ping was only an in-name disciple. In terms of seniority, Yang Wu was the senior brother, and Jiang Ping was the junior brother. Jiang Ping was very dissatisfied with Yang Wu, so he had to fight for the position of the Dragon Emperor and become the first successor of the Heavenly Palace. Others didn't know how powerful the Heavenly Palace used to be, but Jiang Ping was very clear. He cared a lot about the position of the first disciple of the Heavenly Palace. This was also the reason why he kept challenging opponents in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss and won. "Jiang Ping, you beast. Where did you kidnap my junior sister?" A prodigy from the Martial Marquis Association soared into the sky and questioned. "It's Jiang Ping, you bastard. What did you do to my woman? If you don't give me an explanation today, I'll fight it out with you." A prodigy from the Phoenix Palace also rushed out and shouted. Not only that, but several other prodigies also rushed out from different directions. They all looked like they wanted to skin Jiang Ping alive. These prodigies all had their senior sisters and junior sisters captured by Jiang Ping. Some of them were even their lovers. How could they not hate Jiang Ping? Just as these people were about to attack Jiang Ping, a voice rang out, "Senior brother, don't mess around. Young Master Jiang treats me very well. I'm the one who willingly followed him." That's right. We all willingly followed young Master Jiang. We all like him. Don't mess around. Another voice rang out. Following that, more than 10 women rushed out. These women were all very beautiful. They were of different shapes and sizes. When they stood together, they were very attractive. Among these women, one or two of them were extremely popular. They were also ranked very high on the Heavenly Phoenix list. Who would have thought that they would willingly become Jiang Ping's women? The male prodigies surrounding Jiang Ping all had ugly expressions on their faces. "Ah, Jiang Ping, what kind of drug did you use on my junior sister? I'm going to kill you." One of the prodigies couldn't stand it anymore and shouted wildly. He attacked Jiang Ping. They must be under Jiang Ping's control. Only by killing him will they be rescued. Another prodigy shouted and chose to attack. The other male prodigies also attacked. There were women they liked here. Some of them were even their wives. They were all humiliated by Jiang Ping. No man could take this lying down. "You pieces of trash. You can't even give your women happiness. How dare you challenge me? You're courting death," Jiang Ping said coldly. He turned into a gust of wind and charged towards those prodigies. Not many living beings had seen Jiang Ping attack before. Those who had seen him attack had basically all gone to hell. A terrifying storm instantly enveloped those prodigies. The domineering power of the wind blades twisted those prodigies into a pool of blood. These prodigies died before they could even touch Jiang Ping's skin. Many living beings had a hint of fear in their eyes when they saw this scene. Yang Wu didn't pay attention to Jiang Ping. He seized the time to recover. There was going to be a fierce battle next. Not far away, the foreign races had killed many demons and obtained many victories. Amipa, benefactors, it's almost time to leave the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Since everyone is gathered together, let's quickly discuss the Tao and decide who is the strongest emperor. Tianli Temple's Jin Juezi put his palms together. Jin Juezi was a young monk with a dignified appearance and an awe-inspiring Buddhist aura. He wore a monk's robe with Buddhist prayer beads hanging from it. His legs were exposed to the air, revealing his bronzed arms that looked as if they were cast from gold and were extremely hard. This monk's words are true. Let's hurry up and start. Jiangping had just taken care of a dozen prodigies. How are we going to compete? The invincible emperor will definitely belong to me. Di Shang of the foreign races leaped into the air and said, "Who do you think you are? My big brother is the invincible emperor now. If you're not convinced, you'll have to go through me first." Shouho rushed over with a broken staff and shouted, "It's all the same. The one with the #1 battle record will be the invincible emperor." When did the rules change this time? Purple Yu also spoke up. Yang Wu had the most victories and was also #1 on the list. The people of Wu Ho Gang would definitely speak up for him. Since everyone dares to come here, there's no one who's afraid of him. After killing him, he'll be nothing. DMO also flew over and said faintly, "I agree with this." A voice that sounded like both a man and a woman lightly floated over. A white figure appeared in front of everyone. It was the spirit demon seven-tailed fox king Yuji. She was graceful and had a natural temperament that stood out from the rest. No matter if it was a man or a woman, they would all be mesmerized by her charm. It was a pity that her chest was flat, which made people feel that it was a pity. In this place, only Lu Ji could be compared to Yuji. Both of them were extremely beautiful creatures. Beautiful military advisor, your rival has appeared. Why aren't you going out to compete with her? Yang Wu looked at Lu Ji, who was not far away, and teased him. "My lord, don't mess around. I heard that this fellow is very strong." Lu Ji said a little cowardly, "Brother Ji, you're very strong too," Yang Lulu said beside him. In the next moment, Lu Ji seemed to have been injected with chicken blood as he rushed up to the sky. He pointed at Yuji and shouted, "You thing that's neither a man nor a woman. If you want to deal with my lord, you'll have to ask if I, the world's most handsome Lu Ji, agree." Yang Lulu revealed an infatuated look and exclaimed, "Brother Ji, you're so handsome." Some of the geniuses who had never seen Lu Ji before were also mesmerized after seeing Lu Ji. Lu Ji's charm was indeed not inferior to Yuji's. Yuji narrowed her long and narrow eyes and looked at Lu Ji. She said calmly, "The people who talk to me like that are all dead." "Ha, then let's see." Lu Ji sneered. After Lu Ji killed dozens of Battle League members, he had not killed anyone else. Unless he was forced to protect Yang Lulu, he would not take the initiative to attack. He was dizzy, and this was no joke. He and Yang Lulu were in love, and Yang Lulu's words would have a great impact on him. Because of this, he took the initiative to respond to the Fox King. "You humans have no ability to become the invincible emperor. The invincible emperor has to be our Fox King." An extremely ugly, shape-shifting spirit demon walked out and spat out corrosive venom as he shouted. This was a black-striped toad. It was invincible in poison and ranked in the top 10 of the Green Demon leaderboard. It was also a powerful follower of the Fox King. Who says we humans can't become the invincible emperor? 800 years ago, the invincible emperor belonged to us humans. Xinyuan Third Lord also walked out leisurely. That was 800 years ago. In the past 10,000 years, you humans have become the invincible emperor a few times. You humans have no other good points other than your fast reproductive ability. Another creature walked out and sneered. That's right. If you want to become the invincible emperor, you have to defeat us first. Humans are the most scheming. They don't win with their true strength. That guy called Yang Wu. Hurry up and come die. Our Prince Di Shang is the true invincible emperor. Our Fox King is the invincible emperor. You're all trash. The top geniuses of each race walked out one after another. It was as if they were arguing in a busy market. No one was willing to give in to the other. Everyone, please listen to me. I have a good idea to determine who is the invincible emperor. Xinyuan Third Princess spoke again. Her voice was not very loud, but when it fell into the ears of all the creatures, they all quieted down. They all felt that this woman was not simple. Tell us. Chapter 1125. Third Princess Xinyuan was from the Xinyuan clan, and just based on this name, she had a lot of face among the various clans. No matter if it was the Spirit Demon clan, Strange clan, or the Devil clan, she could speak with her back straight. This was the confidence of the Xianyuan clan. The Xin Yuan clan was the strongest clan among the battle clans and was also the first clan to awaken their battle talent in the ancient times. There were a few ancestor-level characters, and they were the emperors who ruled over the human race during the primitive times. At that time, the various clans treated the human race as food, and it was the Xin Yuan clan who paved the way for the human race to be on equal footing with the other clans. Third Princess Xin Yuan's looks were ordinary, but she had a unique temperament. Even if she stood among the outstanding-looking geniuses, no one would treat her as an ordinary girl. She was born to be an empress, and her status was indescribable. The living beings present gave her face and quietly listened to her suggestion. It was better than arguing here. Invincible Emperor is the symbol of invincibility, suppressing all of his peers. I suggest that each clan first choose the strongest emperor, and then the emperors of each clan will have a final competition to determine the strongest. I believe that everyone will be convinced by the final victor. Xin Yuan, third princess, said faintly. After she finished speaking, Dmo said in disdain, "This is an old-fashioned method. What's the point?" "That's right, there's nothing new. I feel that after the various clans fight, the one who survives to the end will be the invincible emperor." A bloodthirsty, strange clan member agreed. "Listen to me first. The sovereigns I'm talking about are not one, but 5. In other words, each clan can send out their 5 strongest sovereigns, and then engage in a chaotic battle to determine the strongest." The Xin Yuan, third princess, continued. "This method is not bad. It's a little persuasive." Jiang Ping agreed. The silent Grand Hall King also said, "All right." The other clans didn't have much opinion. Choosing one emperor wasn't enough to represent the strongest. If each clan chose 5, there would be a total of over 20 emperors fighting. The strongest would become the invincible emperor. It was still very persuasive. "I don't agree." Yang Wu finally spoke. He separated the Wu Ho gang members and slowly walked out. While they were talking, his strength had already recovered to its peak. "It's not up to you to disagree. The minority is more than the majority." A monster sneered. The Xin Yuan, third princess, looked at Yang Wu and said, "Although you are the invincible emperor now, everyone here is not convinced. If you don't agree with my opinion, it will only lead to a large-scale battle. At that time, all the clans will pay a heavy price. You shouldn't be so selfish." Third Princess Xuanyuan's intention was good. She didn't want the teams to fight each other. As long as the strongest was determined and they acknowledged the existence of the strongest, all the teams would admit defeat at the same time. Then, the title of Invincible Emperor would be well-deserved. Xin Yuan Huowu sent a sound transmission to Yang Wu and said, "This method is already the best. Can you not do anything else?" Yang Wu acted as if he didn't hear Xin Yuan Huowu's words. Instead, he glanced at the monstrous geniuses present and said, "Right now, this young master is the invincible emperor. If any of you are unconvinced, then fight. Why are you talking so much nonsense?" Yang Wu's domineering aura leaked from his side. His eyes were like lightning, and his battle intent soared to the heavens. A domineering aura enveloped all the monstrous geniuses, giving them quite a bit of pressure. It was as if a true dragon had appeared and was suppressing them. After Yang Wu saw the killing power of Evil Jiren's 8-eyed evil blade, he realized that the monstrous genius's attack methods were no small matter. He definitely couldn't underestimate them. Once he did, he would suffer losses. At the same time, he also understood why Little Hay told him to take the initiative to attack the demonic creatures. His title of Invincible Emperor was indeed a bit unworthy. Although he had won the most battles and had the best battle record, if he wanted to suppress his peers, he had to display a domineering aura that could suppress his peers. He had to let them feel the gap between them and his invincibility. Only then could he be the invincible emperor. Because of this, he decided to be arrogant for once and challenge these monstrous geniuses until they were sincerely convinced. Only then could his heart of invincibility be erected. He didn't wish to encounter a situation like Evil Jiren's forbidden technique, where he couldn't withstand it. He wanted to make use of these monstrous geniuses to temper himself. The battle with the demonic creatures earlier, he had gained quite a bit. using battle to nurture battle. That was the path to self-improvement. Perhaps this was what Little Hay wanted him to do. Yang Wu, do you really think that you're invincible? I wanted to kill you for a long time. DMO shouted as he raised a dark green palm and grabbed towards Yang Wu. As compared to half a year ago, DMO's strength had increased by quite a bit. He had refined quite a number of high-grade stone materials in this place, and his saint body was much tougher. Yang Wu didn't even look as he raised his hand and punched out, causing that dark green palm to explode. Initially, he thought that DMO's attack was just SOSO. It was only the next moment that he realized that DMO's attack was just a feint. There was actually a burst of energy that formed a shocking dragon claw that grabbed towards him. This dragon claw had fused with the Jade Emperor clan's unique Jade Chi, and its might was even stronger. It was enough to threaten Yang Wu. Yang Wu raised his eyebrows as his lips curled into a smile. Interesting. After saying that, Yang Wu swung out his barbarian god's arm, and a thick brute force clashed against the dragon claw. In an instant, there was a billowing blast of air, which forced many living beings to retreat far away. When the two moves separated, DMO was pushed back by Yang Wu's barbarian god's arm. His eyes revealed a look of shock as he asked, "When did your physical strength become so strong?" He remembered the first time he clashed with Yang Wu. Based on physical strength, Yang Wu wasn't as good as him. During the second battle, Yang Wu went all out against him. Yang Wu barely gained the upper hand and snatched away the spirit marrow liquid. He also took the opportunity to keep the Dragon Claw Saint Stone and fused it into his battle skills to increase his strength. He originally thought that with the power of the Dragon Claw, even if it wasn't enough to kill Yang Wu, it would at least be able to severely injure Yang Wu. But the reality wasn't like that. Instead, he was forced to retreat by Yang Wu's strength. "I'm always this strong. Whoever doesn't accept that I'm the invincible emperor, come and fight me," Yang Wu said in high spirits. His legs moved and turned into a lightning shadow as he charged towards DMO. Zhen Wu Boxing's willpower condensed as he punched out his martial god's fist. The sun and moon reversed as Black Tortoise and a real dragon appeared at the same time. The scene was very shocking. DMO was shocked. He could feel the terror of Yang Wu's fist. If he couldn't take it, he would die. DMO gritted his teeth and shouted, "Want to kill me? Not so easy." Jade Emperor's divine fist. DMO drew out all the Jade Chi from his body. A large amount of soil rolled over and condensed on his divine fist. A huge dark green fist collided with Yang Wu's fist. Rumble, rumble. The power of the two fists was very terrifying. The sound of explosions rang out continuously, deafening the ears. It was also at this moment that the number one expert of the strange races, Di Shang, also moved. He used the Earth Escape technique to avoid the eyes and ears of all living creatures. He wanted to sneak an attack on Yang Wu. But before he could sneak an attack on Yang Wu, the outcome of the battle between Yang Wu and DMO had already been decided. In this half a year, Yang Wu had not only been cultivating bitterly, he had also been studying the weaknesses of the various races. He also understood the weakness of the Jade Emperor clan from Little Hay. They were formed from the Emperor Jade and had a jade body. They looked very strong, but in actual fact, they had an extremely fatal weakness. This weakness was not known by many races, but Little Hay knew very well. That fatal weakness was the jade mark between the brows. The Jade Emperor clan's entire body was covered in black lines. These were the heavenly patterns of jade stones. They possessed extraordinary innate strength, and at the same time, it was also their weakness. The jade was fragile, and it started from the lines. The meaning was that if one wanted to break the jade body of the Jade Emperor clan, they would have to start from the lines on their jade body. The jade mark between the brows was the weakest point, but also the strongest point. In the past, Yang Wu wasn't clear, but now that he naturally wouldn't let go of such an opportunity. After exchanging a punch with DMO, his soul eye opened and a beam of soul light shot towards the jade mark between DMO's brows. That was where DMO's soul consciousness was located. Yang Wu's soul light shot in like an arrow and instantly exploded his soul. The jade mark between his brows started to crack, and the jade marks on his entire body started to crack. His jade body couldn't be protected. DMO cried out in despair. No. Boom! Demo's jade body exploded, and he died completely. Even if he still had many trump cards that he hadn't used, he wouldn't have another chance. The Jade Emperor clan was born with a jade body. Once it condensed into a spirit, it was comparable to a saint body. However, the Tao of Heaven was fair. There were gains and losses. They were born with a powerful body, but their soul strength was lacking. This meant that DMO couldn't withstand Yang Wu's soul eye attack. It was reasonable that he would be killed by Yang Wu. At this moment, Dishang's attack finally arrived. A huge earth dragon pounced towards Yang Wu. Its majestic battle power wreaked havoc towards Yang Wu. It wanted to kill Yang Wu in one fell swoop. Yang Wu used all his strength to kill DMO, but still split his attention to observe the surroundings. His soul was strong, and his divine sense was strong. He caught Dishang's attack, but he didn't have time to escape. He didn't want to. Wind God Kick. On the ground, Yang Wu could use the power of Wind God Kick to absorb the god's tomb chi. The second stage of the kick's power could form an even more terrifying storm with a thick god's tomb chi. Its power far exceeded his normal battle power. Rumble, rumble. The Wind Dragon and Earth Dragon collided. The Wind Dragon, which contained the god's tomb chi, twisted the Earth Dragon into pieces. It even swept up Dishang, who was on the ground. Dishang was worthy of being called the top expert of the outsiders. When he charged out, he had already used the Jade Emperor clan's unique divine ability, Thousand Marks Fission. In an instant, his jade body's power surged. The jade marks all over his body released a terrifying power that formed a net. Not only could it bind his opponent, it could also cut him into thousands of pieces. This was an invincible divine ability. Chapter 1126. Countless jade runes intertwined to form countless jade blade lines. Each jade blade line could cut through a sacred artifact, but there were over 1,000 jade blade lines that enveloped the sky above Yang Wu, covering an area of 1 kilometer. Even if Yang Wu wanted to retreat, it was too late. The power of this move was equivalent to Lu Ji's Xiao Fu slaughter formation. The only difference was its duration. The former could only last for an instant, while the latter could last for a period of time. In that instant, it was the equivalent of multiple saints attacking together. It wasn't something that just anyone could block. Even Yang Wu's black tortoise battle armor was instantly cut through by the jade lines. There was nothing he could do to stop it. Just as the jade lines were about to land on Yang Wu drew his profound phoenix sword and activated a boundless sword intent to slash out. As the sword slashed out, it was like the stars in the Milky Way were constantly exploding. The destructive power was incredibly shocking. After Little Hay upgraded the profound phoenix sword, its saint might was astonishing. Any weapon that could be ranked on the saint artifact rankings was a top-tier saint artifact. Furthermore, they were the best of the best. Not only did they have the ability to increase power, but they also had special abilities. Yang Wu had fused half of the phoenix feather into the profound phoenix sword, so it had the power to release true fire. The sharp flaming sword slashed through Dishang's jade lines, and a ferocious flame burned towards Dishang. Dishang quickly defended himself. A large amount of jade chi formed into a saint armor, and a round jade shield appeared in his hand, blocking Yang Wu's sword. Even though Yang Wu had broken through Dishang's divine ability, he was still cut by the jade lines. A dozen wounds appeared, and blood splattered everywhere. Yang Wu had the Saint Dragon body. Even ordinary Saint artifacts might not be able to hurt him. However, Dishang's innate divine ability had injured him. If he didn't have a top-tier Saint artifact to break through Dishang's divine ability, he probably wouldn't have fared well. He killed our prince. Everyone, let's kill him together. A bloodthirsty creature from the outsiders roared. You're still far from being able to seize the title of Invincible Emperor, another alien shouted. Within the blink of an eye, over 10 non-humankind creatures pounced on Yang Wu. Demo's death had created a huge pressure on them, and they were afraid that Dishang wasn't a match for Yangwu, so they decided to join forces to eliminate Yangwu. The spirit demons were also itching to make a move. However, the Fox King had not taken any action, so they did not dare to make a decision on their own. At this moment, the first palace lord locked his gaze on the Fox King and said faintly, "Today, I will wash away my shame." The people of the Dragon Palace were shocked. Could it be that the first palace lord had been defeated by the Fox King? The first palace lord's jade tablet didn't show that he had been defeated. The Fox King said with some disdain, "A loser dares to be brave." The first palace lord didn't say anything else. He took a step forward and approached Fox King. He raised his fist and punched Fox King. Longevity Fist. The Longevity Fist Dao was unique. An endless stream of fist shadows sealed the space and smashed viciously toward the Fox King. Still the same moves. How boring. The Fox King said lazily and raised his hand to claw at the fist shadows. Immortal Fox Heaven Claw. Several claw marks appeared, and the sky seemed to be torn apart. The fierce fist shadows were also torn to shreds. The first palace lord took the opportunity to approach the Fox King. An aura surged like a flood as wave after wave of fist shadows bombarded the Fox King. The Fox King had no choice but to fight back. Although the first palace lord was powerful, he wasn't strong enough to force him to use his full strength. He just didn't know what other trump cards the first palace lord had hidden. After the first palace lord attacked the Fox King, the young palace lord didn't stay idle either. He took the initiative to charge toward the spirit demons and engaged in a fierce battle with another powerful demon from the spirit demons. There were still a few people from the Dragon Palace who were very strong, and the spirit demons were even more so. Many battles broke out at the same time. Fortunately, the other creatures restrained themselves and didn't immediately engage in a chaotic battle. Otherwise, rivers of blood would flow here. However, this situation wouldn't last for long. They were already rubbing their fists. Perhaps a chaotic battle would break out in the next moment. Xuanyuan's third princess was helpless. Her words might work on the Phoenix Palace, but they didn't work on these top-level demons. Yangwu really is a brute. Xuanyuan's third princess couldn't help but curse. Beside her, Xinyuan Huwu smiled and said, "I think he's very handsome. I also want to find a few foreign races to practice with." Immediately afterward, she transformed into a phoenix shadow and charged toward another group of foreign beings. Most of the foreign races had entered the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. Dishang's group wasn't the only foreign race group that had arrived. "Let's help Yangwu," Meng Bingxue suggested from Wuhou Gang's side. Yu Yu hurriedly stopped her and said, "No, this is my husband's battle. He definitely won't allow us to interfere." "That's right. I don't think Wuhou is an impulsive person. If he wants to become the unrivaled emperor in the hearts of others, he needs this battle." Shu Yujun agreed. Yang Wu had to destroy the foreign races in an unstoppable manner. If this dragged on for too long, others wouldn't recognize him as the unrivaled emperor because he hadn't displayed his unrivaled might. It was because of this that Yang Wu was able to kill DMO in an instant. Now, he was going to kill Dishang as quickly as possible. Dishang was the #1 expert of the foreign races and also possessed a top-level saint weapon. Other than that round shield, he also had a jade pattern spear that was also nurtured from top-level Saint Jade. It wasn't inferior to a Xiantian warrior weapon and could unleash his greatest battle strength. Unfortunately, Yangwu wasn't going to fight him head-on. Instead, he was going to use a trick to kill Dishang as quickly as possible. Dishang didn't know that Yangwu had used his soul eye to kill DMO. Even if he knew, he wouldn't be afraid. He was different from DMO in that he had a soul-locking jade embedded in his forehead. It was a top-level jade artifact that could defend the soul. Even if he was hit by a soul attack, it would be blocked by the soul-locking jade. It was almost impossible for Yang Wu to use the same move to kill him. As expected, when Yang Wu's soul didn't manage to kill Dishang immediately, he realized that something was wrong. "You want to use soul energy to kill me? You're too naive." Dishang looked at Yang Wu's third eye with lingering fear. If he didn't have the soul-locking jade, he really would have been killed by Yang Wu. Jade Qi gave rise to smoke. Dishang completely unleashed his battle prowess. Waves of Jade Qi floated around him, forming a force field. He waved the jade-patterned spear in his hand, sending waves of Jade Qi toward Yangwu. This wave of attacks was comparable to the battle prowess of a mid-level saint. Moreover, the Jade Qi also had a strong bewitching effect. Not only would it block one's vision, but it would also affect one's soul, causing one to hallucinate and be killed. These were all methods that only top-level geniuses could use. If it were any other creature here, they would have been instantly killed. Yangwu couldn't kill Dishang in a short amount of time. He also sensed that the other creatures had sealed off the area. Once he was heavily injured, they would definitely attack together. Under these circumstances, Yangwu had no other choice. He could only take a step back and attack Dishang's other weak points. If the jade mark between his brows was his first weak point, then the jade marks on his other vitals would be his other weak points. Yangwu took out the phoenix feather fan and waved it. Blazing true flames burned the Jade Qi into nothingness and swept it toward Dishang. Dishang was forced to retreat. The power of a Xiantian warrior was not something that could be blocked by creatures of the same level. At the same time, the other outsiders attacked Yangwu at the same time. Trap him! Dishang roared. 18 earth dragons rushed up from the ground, forming a prison that trapped Yangwu within. They didn't give Yangwu a chance to escape at all. This killing speed won't do. Continue to increase my battle prowess. Yangwu roared, his battle intent surging to the extreme. The black tortoise doppelgangers appeared once more. The different attacks of the 9 clones caused the earth dragons to explode, and the other non-human creatures were also sent flying by the clones' punches. For a moment, Dishang couldn't tell which doppelgangers were Yangwu's true body. His jade-patterned spear had already struck one of the Yangwu doppelgangers. The dark green spear light carried the power of destruction as it pierced through Yangwu. Oh no, I've been tricked. Dishang was shocked when he saw the Yangwu disappear. He felt a chill run down his spine as the ice-wing blade slashed down at him with all his might. Pung pung. The ice-wing blade slashed at Dishang's jade-patterned spear. Even though it didn't immediately shatter Dishang's armor, the cold air seeped in, causing Dishang's movements to become much slower. The ice-wing blade slashed out again and again, not giving Dishang a chance to catch his breath. Even though Dishang sensed the ice-wing blade's existence, it changed directions too quickly. He couldn't destroy it immediately. He could only use all his strength to block it, not allowing it to damage his jade-patterned spear. At the same time, he used his other innate skill, Jade Tongue Ink Arrow. An ink-colored arrow flew out of his mouth at extremely fast speed, shooting towards Yangwu, who was not far away. Pooh! The Yangwu was struck and instantly collapsed. Another doppelganger appeared. The Jade Tongue Ink Arrow didn't disappear. Instead, it continued to shoot toward the other Yangwu. The Jade Tongue Ink Arrow was so fast that it could tear through space. Even a peak mid-level saint wouldn't be able to escape. Who would have thought that after shooting through 3 doppelgangers of Yangwu, the Jade Tongue Ink Arrow still hadn't found the location of the real Yangwu? When Yangwu reappeared, he was already behind Dishang. Holding the phoenix feather fan, he furiously swung it at Dishang. This time, the true fire cracked Dishang's armor, scaring him out of his wits. He quickly burrowed into the ground, hoping to cushion this fatal blow. Unfortunately, just as he began to burrow into the ground, Yangwu's wind god's leg stomped furiously on the ground. The ground cracked, and a leg light containing God's burial chi shot toward Dishang. Pung! Dishang's armor was destroyed, and with Yangwu's kick, there was no suspense. It exploded on the spot. Yangwu didn't stop. He controlled the invisible ice-wing blade to slash at the other outsiders. Kill! Poo-pee-you! Chapter 11:27. Yangwu entered a frenzied state of slaughter. He completely unleashed his Tao of death, enveloping the world. The omnipresent power of death affected the minds of the foreign beings, and the ice-wing blades killed them without leaving a trace. The ice-wing blades appeared and disappeared unpredictably, slashing creatures on one side and then on the other. No one was able to catch them. One after another, those non-humankind creatures were killed by Yang Wu. These non-humankind creatures would not just sit there and wait for death. They all performed their most powerful attacks, determined to kill Yang Wu. After killing Di Shang, Yang Wu's invincibility became extremely firm once more. He broke free from the influence of Xie Jiren's final attack. Xie Jiren had used more power than he could handle and suffer backlash. That was why Purple Yu had taken the opportunity to kill him. The kind of attack damaged one's foundation, so it was reasonable that Yang Wu hadn't been able to block it immediately. If he could go back in time, he would definitely be able to block Xie Jiren's ultimate attack by himself. The god's tomb chi here was a kind of god chi. Since he could use it to strengthen his innate power, he could use it in battle. This was his unique advantage, but he hadn't used it completely. It was a great waste. He discovered that when he used the Tao of Death, the god's tomb chi and the chi of death could fuse together. The god's tomb chi could devour the life force of others and use it for himself, while the chi of death could directly corrode the life force of others, but it couldn't turn it into life force. There were similarities and differences between the two. Yang Wu vaguely grasped a connection between the two. As long as he grasped that connection, he was confident that he could absorb and refine the god's tomb chi and turn it into his own unique battle chi. After thinking this through, Yang Wu completely unleashed the power of the Tao of Death in the god's court Tao flower. He took the initiative to cater to the god's tomb chi. The god's tomb chi could devour the life force of living beings. It would unknowingly weaken a living being's life force. Yang Wu had even fused his willpower into the god's tomb chi. In the eyes of any living being, this was an act of suicide. However, that was not the case in reality. When Yang Wu's deathly aura and the aura of the tomb of gods merged together, he immediately felt a sliver of fusion. It was as if the two auras could complement each other and grow. It was just that the speed of this fusion was rather slow, as if it was lacking some sort of opportunity before it could reach a state of complete fusion. Yang Wu was able to multitask. His physical body was engaged in a fierce battle with the foreign creatures, while his battle soul was constantly thinking about the key to fusing these two types of chi. He always felt that once these two types of chi were fused together, they would definitely become even more powerful. While Yang Wu was fighting the alien creatures, two of the Buddhas finally joined the fray. One of them was Jin Juezi from the Tianli Temple. He was very powerful and was in the top 10 of the Heavenly Dragon list. He was also a human creature on the Invincible list. His entire body shone with golden light as he clasped his hands together. Buddhist light surged as if a Buddha had descended to the mortal world. The other was Jin Xiao, a rogue cultivator. No one knew where he came from. They all guessed that he might have received the inheritance of some ancient Buddha. That was how he became such an amazing Buddha. Jin Xiao's ranking was not high, and he did not have many victories. However, no one dared to underestimate him. He was a monster who had walked out of the barrier tunnel alive. Rumor had it that he had slapped a creature in the top 10 of the Green Demon list to death with his bare hands. Regardless of whether that was true or not, Jin Xiao still had a very high reputation among the human race. No one would easily provoke him. Fortunately, he was very low-key. He seemed to be focused on finding opportunities. If others did not interfere with him, he would not harm them either. Jin Xiao, you should join my Tianli Temple. That is where you truly belong. That is where you can ascend to the position of true Buddha, Jin Juezi said. His Buddhist voice was vast and mighty. It carried an inexplicable power. When it fell into the ears of any creature, they would involuntarily be convinced by him. Jin Xiao smiled faintly and said, "If I don't fight for the position of true Buddha, then wouldn't I have lost my Buddhist heart? Jin Juezi, your enchanting Buddhist voice is still a little lacking. You can't deal with me. Stop wasting your breath and let me see Tianli Temple's Buddhist teachings." After that, he slapped a palm toward Jin Juezi. A seemingly ordinary palm reached Jin Juezi's chest in the blink of an eye. It was so fast that Jin Juezi reacted quickly. His body flashed. leaving only an afterimage in the air. It was difficult to capture his real body. Amipa, you have embarked on the path of the demonic Buddha. I will purify you and return the path of Buddhism to you. Jin Juezi shouted. His monk robe fluttered. A vast Buddhist power surged, and a shocking Buddhist palm slapped toward Jin Shio. Heavenly Buddha palm. Siddhagarbha Buddha palm. Bang! The two shocking palm techniques collided, causing a huge commotion. The Buddhist aura filled the sky. From afar, it looked like two different ancient Buddhas were fighting fiercely. Both of them had a vast Buddhist aura and an astonishing Zen intent. It was difficult to determine the winner in a short time. On the other side, Ziyu, Meng Bingxue, Shu Yujun, Sun Do, and Yang Ba were not idle. Even if they did not participate in the battle of the Invincible Emperor, they had to support Yang Wu. They had to pay attention to the changes on the battlefield at all times. They had to prevent others from shooting arrows at Yang Wu. There were many creatures here. There were all kinds of creatures with different abilities. They also had different sacred items. They could not underestimate any of them. Otherwise, they would not even know how they died. After the battle between Xianyuan Hou and the other foreign race geniuses, the other races here were restless. They were ready to fight against the human race. At this moment, there was a huge change in Yang Wu's position. An inexplicable power surged toward Yang Wu. It was the god's burial chi from the god's burial ground. Many creatures caught sight of this power that was filled with divine aura with their naked eyes. Their eyes revealed a look of longing as they began to circulate their mystic arts or secret techniques to absorb this power. They felt that this was divine aura and could definitely increase their strength or even temper their bodies. After absorbing the god's burial chi, they quickly realized that something was wrong. What? What kind of power is this? Why do I feel like my vitality is weakening? Oh no, this is not Saint Chi or Divine Chi. It might be a poisonous gas or death Chi. Damn it, there's God's burial ground everywhere. Don't absorb the God's burial Chi. Leave this place quickly. Damn it, this power has seeped into my dantian. It seems that there is no way to purify it. These creatures were all from different races. They had extraordinary vision. They quickly realized that the power here was not right. They stopped absorbing and left. Even if they did not absorb the chi, it would greatly affect their vitality. The foreign race geniuses fighting Yang Wu did not have the time to think about such a problem. They had more than 30 companions surrounding Yang Wu. Yang Wu had killed half of them, but they still could not hurt Yang Wu. Yang Wu fought more and more fiercely. The power in his body seemed to be inexhaustible. Even his explosive power was getting stronger. One of the creatures was hit by Yang Wu's barbaric god arm. The saint weapon in his hand was sent flying. Half of his body was destroyed by Yang Wu's attack. A creature wielding a holy whip wanted to strangle Yang Wu, but it was sliced apart by the phoenix profound sword in Yang Wu's hand. The creature was also sliced into two halves. One of the creatures was hit by the phoenix feather fan. He turned into a cloud of ash and died. Not only was Yang Wu powerful, but he was also well-equipped. He was invincible. Moreover, he had finally found the point of fusion between the chi of death and the chi of God's tomb. The chi of death represented death, while the chi of God's tomb seemed to contain vitality. Life and death were opposites. If they fused together, they would form a different martial path. The Tao of Death had always been considered an evil martial path. It needed to absorb a large amount of chi of death to grow stronger. Where did the chi of death come from? Of course, it came from killing creatures. Only then could the chi of death be absorbed. There was also a martial path that could help one's vitality. It was called the Tao of Life. Creatures who comprehended this martial path could live longer than ordinary people. They also had the talent to help other creatures recover their vitality. The Tao of Longevity, cultivated by the Longevity Hall, could also be considered a type of Tao of Life. However, there were some differences between the two. Yang Wu had vaguely comprehended another martial path. He wondered if the fusion of the chi of death and the chi of God's tomb could form the Tao of life and death. Life and death were originally two different extreme martial Taos. No one had ever heard of anyone who could create a martial Tao that could fuse these two extreme powers into one and form a martial Tao of life and death. The Tao of Taiji of Wudong belonged to the Tao of Yin and Yang. It was rather similar to the Tao of life and death, but there was definitely a fundamental difference between the two. Yang Wu's Tao flower of the divine court was unleashed. It absorbed the qi of God's tomb. The petals branded with the Tao of death turned from pure black to two colors. One was pure black, while the other was white. It was a stark contrast between black and white. The Tao of death was changing as well. The qi of death that seeped out was penetrative, directly seeping into the bodies of the foreign creatures. It accelerated the withering of their vitality. One was the decay of the qi of death, while the other was the devouring of the qi of God's tomb. The effects were stacked. Several creatures rapidly aged. Their battle prowess plummeted. They were all frightened out of their wits. Why is my vitality fading so quickly? Why is the power of the Tao of death so powerful? I don't want to fight anymore. If I keep fighting, I'll die. I need to replenish my vitality. It's already too late. That guy seems to have entered a state of comprehension. If we don't interrupt his comprehension, we'll die. The foreign creatures used their final trump cards once more. They unleashed their most powerful moves, but it was to no avail. The qi of God's tomb in the surroundings was mobilized, forming a vortex of qi of God's tomb. Fists with a divine aura and sword moves appeared one after another, taking away all their vitality. The strange phenomena here were shocking. An extremely profound Tao flower of martial path had condensed in the sky. One was black and one was white. The sun and moon reversed, and the cycle of reincarnation intersected. It was a shocking sight. The Tao of Taiji, the Tao of reincarnation. Chapter 1128. There were 3,000 Taos, and each Tao contained a different principle that could help any living being step onto a different Tao. There were countless living beings, but there were only a few who could comprehend their own Tao. Once they comprehended their own Tao, they would be able to walk a different Tao and reach the shore of their dreams. It was just that the great Tao was difficult to find, and it was even more difficult to become a perfect great Tao. The reason why the major powers of the human race were able to stand tall and prosper was because their founders had comprehended the great Tao and passed down this great Tao. For example, Tianli Temple's Buddhist Tao, Longevity Hall's Tao of longevity, Purple Firmament Hall's Tao of thunder, Wudong's Tao of Tai Chi. Now, Yang Wu caused a shocking phenomenon, and the changes were getting bigger and bigger, attracting the attention of all living beings. Every living being revealed an incomparably shocked expression. They were shocked by this phenomenon. The world was alternating between black and white. Sometimes it would become lifeless. Sometimes it would become full of vitality. There was originally no life growing on the ground, but suddenly plants broke out of the ground, growing very well, and not long after, they withered and died, and then new life was born, and this cycle repeated endlessly. Wudong specialized in the Tao of Tai Chi, was divided into Yin and Yang, and was one of the top martial Taos. It was a martial Tao that could only be cultivated by fusing the power of darkness and light, and it involved the Tao of time. In front of them, the black and white changes caused by Yang Wu and the fused black and white Qi field was extremely similar to their Tai Chi martial Tao. The only difference was that the shape was different. The Tai Chi martial Tao pattern was in the shape of a Yin and Yang fish, while the martial Qi field condensed by Yang Wu was in the shape of a black and white immortal lotus. Half of the lotus was black, and the other half was white. The black and white lotus had a total of 49 petals, and one of them was transparent and colorless. Only Yang Wu could sense its existence. This petal was the true core, and it was also because this petal was colorless that the martial Tao he condensed was not perfect. It seems like our Wudong's Tai Chi Tao, but feels a little different. Zhang Mingshan muttered. This isn't the Taiji Tao, but it has the same effect even though it is different. Back then, the ancestral master said that the Taiji Tao is the root of the Yin-Yang Tao. It involves a lot of things and can derive many different kinds of martial arts. Perhaps this is one of them. Song Ching-sung said. On the side of the Palace of Immortals, the young Hall King widened his eyes and exclaimed, "Is this the reincarnation way that has surpassed the path of immortality?" Everyone in the outside world knew that the Longevity Hall cultivated the longevity way, which was related to the great Tao of life. Their grand ancestor had been exploring for tens of thousands of years and felt that the end of life should be the reincarnation martial way. Legend had it that in ancient times, there were almighties who had cultivated the reincarnation martial path. They could restore one's vitality, regain one's youth, and even reincarnate. Not only that, but there were also rumors that the way of death of the king of Hell's palace was also related to the secret of reincarnation. Once upon a time, a peerless genius had appeared in the king of Hell's hall. After comprehending the Tao of death, he joined the Longevity Hall, wanting to cultivate two types of martial arts at the same time and create the Tao of reincarnation. Unfortunately, he suffered from chi deviation and died. It was his failure that signified that the reincarnation martial way only existed in legends. No one could touch such a great Tao. Now, Yang Wu had suddenly displayed the martial way of life and death. Many creatures believed that it belonged to the reincarnation martial way. Suddenly, the third princess of Xianyuan said, "This is not the reincarnation martial way. It's a newly created martial way." That's right. This is definitely a martial way immortal lotus. Another genius of the human clan said, "Every time a new martial way is created, martial fate will descend and the wrath of heaven will descend. Only after suffering the wrath of heaven will it completely form a true martial way." He's only in the embryonic form now, but he has already caused such a phenomenon. If he really creates a new martial way, it will definitely be one of the most powerful martial ways, Chao Jifei said with great admiration. "This is my ideal man," Chao Jifei thought to herself. Not long ago, she and Yang Wu had some disagreements, but none of this mattered. With her charm, it would be easy for her to obtain Yang Wu's forgiveness. The unlimited potential that Yang Wu had displayed allowed her to see the epitome of her master. Her master was the most powerful warrior in this world, and also the most powerful alchemist. He was the person she admired the most. She also hoped that her cultivation partner would be like her master, who was well-versed in both alchemy and martial arts. Yang Wu was undoubtedly the man closest to her heart. In another direction, Jiang Ping looked in Yang Wu's direction with great jealousy. He muttered to himself unwillingly, "I can't let him continue to grow. Otherwise, my position as the successor of the heavenly palace will be taken away by him." In the next moment, Jiang Ping took out an ancient battle bow and shot an arrow in Yang Wu's direction without hesitation. Swoosh! This arrow contained the power of the wind. It turned into a meteor shadow, carrying an astonishing force as it headed straight for Yang Wu. Before Jiang Ping's arrow could land on Yang Wu, a dragon-shaped whip swept over, intercepting the arrow's power. "If you want to sneak up on Saint Master Yang Wu, you'll have to go through me first," Song Qing shouted as he swept out with the dragon's pine whip. Song Qing did not like fame and fortune, but that did not mean that he was weak and incompetent. In fact, his strength was not inferior to any of the top geniuses. Wudong and Shaolin were known as the masters of the martial arts world. How could Song Qing, who was going to be the sect master, be weak? Then I'll give it a try. Jiang Ping sneered and shot out another arrow. Suddenly, 3 arrow shadows shot out. The power contained in them was extremely domineering, as if they were going to shoot down the sky. This was Jiang Ping's true strength. Not only that, but the 3 arrows transformed into 49 arrow shadows in the air. The power of each arrow shadow was very real. No one could tell which arrow was the real killing arrow. Song Qing snorted and poured his power into the dragon's pine whip. A dragon-shaped whip shadow tore through the air and crashed into the arrow shadows. The power of an innate stage warrior was so strong that the 49 arrow shadows were all shattered into powder. Just as Song Qing was about to kill Jiang Ping, he realized that Jiang Ping was no longer at his original position. That guy had moved to another direction and attacked Yang Wu again. "Oh no!" Song Qing exclaimed and rushed in Jiang Ping's direction. He did not expect Jiang Ping's attack to be so tricky that it caught him off guard. This time, it was too late for him to block that arrow shadow. In other directions, there were also many powerful holy powers shrouding in Yang Wu's direction. Yang Wu had created a new martial art, which meant that he had truly stepped onto the throne of the invincible emperor. This was something that no one wanted to see. These geniuses were all from the human clan. There were no other races. The other races did not cultivate the human clan's martial arts. They had their own bloodline. As long as they continued to evolve, they would become the most powerful overlords. They were completely different from a human clan. Many of the human sky prides felt the attacks, and their faces turned ugly. It was a very ironic thing to kill one's own race. Guard Wu and block these attacks. Shu Yujun shouted and slashed out with her holy sword to block the holy power attack from one direction. Sun Do shouted, "Whoever dares to disturb my brother's enlightenment will die." He swung his broken staff, and a shadow of a staff appeared in the sky and knocked away a holy weapon. Yang Ba, Su Zhu, and the others all made their moves. Yu Yu rushed toward Yang Wu and threw out her purple gourd. Two geniuses were killed by the lightning. The other races also began to move. Even the human clan wanted to kill the invincible emperor. Why would they let him go? At this moment, Yang Wu's voice rang out, "All of you back off. Leave them for me to train my martial arts." The martial path immortal lotus flowed, and countless gods' burial chi gathered towards the immortal lotus. Streams of divine energy flowed in reverse. The attacks falling towards him were immediately shattered by the petals of the immortal lotus. The saint weapons were also sent flying. The beings near Yang Wu rapidly aged after coming into contact with the power of the immortal lotus. Their vitality was completely sucked away. Their faces were filled with horror. They could not understand why their vitality was disappearing just like that. "No, I don't want to die. Give me back my vitality. Why have I aged so much? Why? This power is so terrifying." After the chi of death fused with the god's burial chi, a new power was formed. It possessed the corrosive power of the chi of death and the life-devouring power of the god's burial chi. Their defenses could not stop this power from seeping in. It was only natural that their vitality was being sucked away. Seeing the fate of these beings, the surrounding beings all retreated as far as they could. No one attacked again. The black and white immortal lotus swept away all of the god's burial chi and condensed it into a small, crystalline lotus that hovered above Yang Wu's head. It made Yang Wu look like an immortal who had descended to the mortal world. He was extremely charming. Yang Wu's divine court Dao flower was rapidly growing. He sensed the natural imprints on the black and white immortal lotus and understood. So my Dao of death is not pure. It's not the true Dao of death either. It's just a power of the will of death. After the god's burial chi fused with the chi of death, it formed a new martial path that belongs to me. No, it's still a little bit away from becoming my martial path. He paused and thought, after this is over, I still need to go into seclusion and comprehend this martial path. I need to create a unique martial path that belongs to me. He put the black and white immortal lotus away. It sank into the petals of the divine court Dao flower. This petal was instantly much larger than the others. After the black and white immortal lotus disappeared, the god's burial chi was completely gone. Yang Wu's eyes flowed with two strange colors. He looked at the monsters around him and said, "If you don't accept me as the invincible king, then come at me." Chapter 1129. This time, Yang Wu was filled with boundless confidence. Not only had he comprehended a new martial path, but he had also reached the peak of the dragon transformation realm. He was only a step away from the saint realm, and his battle prowess had greatly increased. He was confident that he could defeat any living being here, including the mysterious Jin Xiao. For a moment, all the living beings in the surroundings quieted down. No one dared to make a move. They could feel Yang Wu's invincible will. Such an emperor made them feel invincible. At this moment, the young Hall King charged towards Yang Wu with a sword pagoda. He shouted, Yang Wu, I lost to you in the broken space. Today, I'm going to get back at you. Before he could reach Yang Wu, the first Hall King blocked him and said, back down. I'll take care of this battle. The first Hall King and the Fox King fought for a while, but the battle was interrupted by Yang Wu's actions. Big brother, he's not worthy of you fighting, the young Hall King said. In 10 years, he definitely won't be your opponent. But now, you're not his opponent. The first Hall King was very certain. In the next moment, the first Hall King flew towards Yang Wu. The Fox King also walked towards Yang Wu. She had the ability to shrink the ground and arrived in front of Yang Wu in the blink of an eye. Her long eyes shone with a strange light as she looked at Yang Wu and said, You're qualified to be my obstacle to becoming an invincible emperor. Haha, Fox King, I also want to see how strong he is. An extremely rough voice laughed loudly. Then a muscular figure flew over. It was Kuang Shi, the third on the Cyan Beast ranking. Kuang Shi was a golden lion with the most perfect bloodline of the Golden Lion clan. His strength was not to be underestimated. His battle prowess was definitely not inferior to the second-ranked AOU. I'll also join in the fun. Another prodigy on the Azure Demon rankings, Ao Luotian, also flew out. Ao Luotian was the prince of another branch of the Flood Dragon clan. Although he had only just made it into the top 10 of the Cyan Demon rankings, no one dared to underestimate someone who had obtained a dragon bone. Kongyue, will come as well. The princess of the peacock race also appeared. Amiba, to not fight is to fight. This little monk will fight according to his heart. Jean Juezi flew over and said, That's a good excuse, but it's a pity that your strength is only SOSO. Jean Xiu followed closely behind. Tens of non-humankind beings stepped out from other directions as well. After Yang Wu slaughtered Di Shang, DMO, and some of the non-humankind geniuses, these non-humankind creatures were obviously much weaker. There were still living beings from the human race and spirit demon race joining the battle. Among them were Jiang Ping, Xianyuan Changshao, Xianyuan Houwu, and the son of the King of Hell, who had just arrived. They wouldn't miss this final opportunity. In the blink of an eye, nearly 50 living beings had surrounded Yang Wu. Every one of them exuded an extremely powerful aura, and they all wielded top-grade sacred weapons in their hands. They were all in their most powerful state. Husband, let me help you. Purple Yu flew over with her purple gold gourd in hand. Meng Bingxue, Shu Yujun, and the little man couldn't help but fly over as well. They were afraid that something would happen to Yang Wu. Yang Wu waved his hand and said seriously, All of you stand down. This battle is mine. In the next moment, he took the initiative to attack. His target was the human prodigy closest to him. This prodigy was Fu Yu from the Radiant Church. He was one of the freaks who had just arrived. When Yang Wu was comprehending the martial Dao, he was the first to launch a sneak attack. Yang Wu, you dare to attack me first? Fu Yu shouted after wiping away her astonishment. His attack on Yang Wu was very subtle. He didn't think that Yang Wu and the other living beings would discover it. Yang Wu couldn't be bothered to reply. He swung his barbarian god's arm, and the god's burial chi formed a 1,000-feet-long waterfall that smashed towards Fu Yu. Yang Wu's attack was too fast. Fu Yu didn't even have time to react. Half of his body was smashed, and he was severely injured. Kill. Fu Yu dared to launch a sneak attack on Yang Wu because he had the light god soul arrow. He could use his soul power to condense an invisible arrow to kill Yang Wu. Who knew that he wouldn't be able to kill Yang Wu? This time, he wouldn't let him go. The invisible light god's soul arrow pierced through the air and entered Yang Wu's soul in the blink of an eye. The arrow was powerful. Even the soul of a mid-level saint wouldn't be able to withstand it. However, it was far from enough to injure Yang Wu. Bang! Yang Wu's fighting soul shattered Fu Yu's soul arrow. Once again, he swung his arm and smashed it on Fu Yu's head, smashing him into pieces. Fu Yu didn't understand why Yang Wu wasn't killed by his soul arrow. Just as Yang Wu killed Fu Yu, the warriors who had launched a sneak attack on Yang Wu attacked one after another. Glazed Sky Lantern, Sacred Burning Sky Halberd, Earth Armor Fist Dao, These forces were very strong. They weren't any weaker than the foreign race beings who had surrounded Yangwu. Unfortunately, they were nothing in front of Yangwu. His black-white, immortal lotus appeared once again. He blasted out a terrifying, life-devouring force, shattering the surrounding forces. Moreover, a terrifying consciousness permeated into their souls. Their souls and bodies were rapidly aging. They couldn't stop it at all. The ice-wing blade swiped past and quickly took their heads. This kind of martial power was simply invincible, scaring all the creatures that had come with menacing momentum into retreating one after another. No matter how strong you are, I can still kill you, Kuang Shi shouted. He gathered all his strength and roared at Yangwu. Golden Lion Roar. A huge golden lion appeared. A terrifying sound wave with earth-shattering power rushed towards Yangwu. This was an innate, sacred art. Its power was boundless. Even if Yangwu closed his ears, the power would still enter his soul. Unfortunately, it was still far from enough to injure his soul. He slashed out with the Phoenix Profound Sword. With the power of the immortal lotus attached to the sword, it broke through space and appeared in front of Kuang Shi in the blink of an eye. Kuang Shi also had some skills. A golden lock appeared in front of him and locked Yangwu's sword. In addition, a Xiantian realm weapon appeared. It was a golden willow sword. The golden willow sword flashed like a willow branch. With a sharp sword aura, it slashed towards Yangwu's neck. The sword swayed like a willow. The sword intent was fast and ruthless. It was not something that anyone could block. When Wild Lion used this sword, the other creatures also cooperated and attacked. They did not want to let go of such an opportunity to kill Yangwu. Yangwu reacted quickly. When the sword was about to slash his throat, the Phoenix Feather Fan turned into a blue phoenix and blocked the fatal sword. Electric Fork Aura. Black Tortoise Doppelganger. Ice Wing Blade. Yangwu activated his Heavenly Thunderbone, and the power of thunder and lightning that appeared out of thin air formed electric forks that blasted in all directions. His doppelgangers also appeared again and separately attacked those creatures. In this battle, Yangwu did not slaughter these creatures as he had imagined. Instead, he fell into a bitter struggle. The power of Kuang Shi's Golden Willow Sword was astonishing. Even a Phoenix Feather Fan could only resist it and could not suppress it. Moreover, he also had other saint weapons. His battle strength was really strong. Yangwu had just come out of the Tao Enlightenment realm. He had a new understanding of the control of heaven and earth. Once his black-white immortal lotus gathered on his battle skill, it would show an unstoppable force. Moreover, when he blasted out a move, the surroundings would be black and white. The terrifying, devouring power could also corrode the opponent's attack power and create a fatal blow. Yangwu and Kuang Shi's fist collided. Before Yangwu's fist even touched Kuang Shi's fist aura was completely suppressed by Yangwu's fist aura. Kuang Shi revealed an incomparably panicked expression and quickly retreated. "Where do you think you're going?" Yangwu would not give Kuang Shi a chance to escape. His fist struck Kuang Shi's body with lightning speed. Bang! Kuang Shi had a golden armor on his body, and its defensive power was very strong. Even ordinary saint weapon would not be able to break through it. But under Yangwu's fist, his golden armor instantly shattered. The fist force penetrated his chest, and his body was devoured by the black and white energy. He rapidly aged and died. After Yangwu killed Kuang Shi, he was surrounded by the other creatures. First Palace King's Long Life Fist, Jiangping's Wind Chasing Holy Arrow, Jin Juezi's Buddha's Palm, Fox King's Sky Tearing Claw. Any one of these monsters could fight against a mid-level Saint Realm creature. The aura they emitted was too terrifying. If they worked together, they could kill a mid-level Saint Realm creature. Yangwu's doppelgangers had reached 12. Each doppelganger used a different move to fight against these monsters. Rumble, rumble. Wave after wave of attacks collided. The ground kept cracking like an earthquake. It was incomparably terrifying. This battle was more intense than ever. It was not a battle that other creatures could interfere with. Yangwu had fused with the divine Tung Qi to form a new embryonic form of martial Tao, which greatly increased his battle prowess. His moves were wide open, and he forcefully blocked all the attacks in the surroundings. He opened his soul and quickly killed a few foreign race cultivators. He also secretly slashed out with the Ice Wing blade, and even the human prodigies were cut in half. Only the top monsters could block Yang Wu's unpredictable attacks. Yang Wu's battle blood boiled to the extreme. His beautiful hair scattered like a waterfall. His eyes were like lightning. The double blade, triple dragon spear, and phoenix sword were in his hands. The black-white, immortal lotus floated above his head. No matter how he attacked, it contained the power of the new martial arts, displaying a crushing combat strength. Yang Wu's doppelgangers exchanged a blow with the first palace lord. The first palace lord was sent flying with blood spurting out of his mouth. If the first palace lord had not cultivated the path of longevity, he would not have been able to withstand Yang Wu's new martial arts devouring his vitality. Yang Wu's doppelganger stabbed at Jin Juezi with a Luo water spear. Jin Juezi slapped out a shocking palm. The boundless Buddhist light was also able to block Yang Wu's new martial arts. After exchanging blows, Jin Juezi's shoulder was injured. The life-devouring power seeped into his body and forced him out of the battlefield. Yang Wu blasted out a tyrannical palm to fight against Fox Princess. Fox Princess was indeed the strongest existence on the Green Demon ranking. She blocked Yang Wu's tyrannical palm and even destroyed one of Yang Wu's doppelgangers. Jiang Ping was the most slippery. He did not approach Yang Wu at all. He kept shooting arrows. Every arrow he shot was very destructive. After 7 arrows, he destroyed one of Yang Wu's doppelgangers. Yang Wu's real body was facing Jin Xiao. Chapter 1130. At the edge of the hidden sky realm, when Yang Wu first encountered Jin Xiao, he was lying in a golden coffin. Moreover, it was in a place where dragon marrow liquid was. At that time, Qing Feng couldn't do anything to Jin Xiao. Moreover, Jin Xiao was able to smoothly take away what he needed in the spirit formation passage. It could be seen how confident he was. Even though Yang Wu was confident that he could fight against Jin Xiao after breaking through to the peak of the dragon transformation realm, or even defeat him, when he faced Jin Xiao again, he felt that Jin Xiao was like a bottomless pool of water, unable to see through Jin Xiao's true realm. Yang Wu raised his guard again and attacked without mercy. If he couldn't suppress Jin Xiao in one move, Jin Xiao would definitely not let go of the chance to defeat him. Reverse Dragon Spear Arts. As Yang Wu grew stronger and stronger, the Yang family spear technique displayed its greatest power. A spear shot out like a torrential river. Its momentum was incomparably ferocious. The chi of the black and white immortal lotus contained within it was unstoppable. Jin Xiao smiled faintly and said, "I didn't expect you to become so strong in just a few years. Congratulations." Jin Xiao formed a hand seal, and a golden rui appeared in his hand. He lightly waved it, and an endless amount of golden qi fell down, forming a golden world. The dense Buddhist energy formed an indescribable Buddhist Tao that strongly blocked Yang Wu's martial Tao power. Moreover, there were many jade rui shadows that smashed towards Yang Wu's vitals. Pung pung. Yang Wu's black tortoise battle armor quickly rotated. The powerful energy dissipated most of Jin Xiao's attack, but the battle armor was still shattered by the jade rui. Yang Wu didn't care about his own defense and stabbed the phoenix profound sword at Jin Xiao's throat. He had a powerful recovery ability. Exchanging a life for a life, he was worth it. Jin Xiao flashed a look of surprise and quickly retreated, dodging Yang Wu's fatal strike. Yang Wu didn't show mercy and slashed the Ice Wing blade at Jin Xiao's back. Clang! The Ice Wing blade slashed Jin Xiao, but a crisp sound rang out. A golden bell appeared on Jin Xiao's body and blocked the Ice Wing blade's attack. Golden Bell Cover. This was a divine ability of Buddhism. Its defense could be said to be invincible. It was similar to the Golden Bell Lock Shield of the Liu family. It was said that the ancestor of the Liu family was a monk who had returned to the secular world. Their innate divine ability was evolved from the Golden Bell Shield. One finger tap. lightning finger, tyrannical divine palm, Vajra palm. Yang Wu and Jin Xiao clashed fiercely. In a few blinks of an eye, the two people had already clashed for no less than several hundred rounds. Unexpectedly, neither side could do anything to the other. After the Fox King destroyed Yang Wu's doppelganger, a cold smile appeared on her enviously beautiful face. She said, "Do you think I, Fox Princess, am Lu Jai?" The Fox King transformed into her true form. A white fox appeared before everyone. Her 7 tails were dancing in a dazzling manner. Demonic energy soared into the sky with dense killing intent. She turned into a shadow and rushed into the battlefield between Yang Wu and Jin Xiao. The Grand Palace Lord had also destroyed Yang Wu's doppelganger. His whole body was suffused with a powerful aura, and with every step he took, his aura would rise by a level. His martial consciousness climbed to the limit, and he threw out an ordinary punch towards the position of Yang Wu and Jin Xiao. Jiang Ping transformed into 3 doppelganger. One doppelganger held a holy bow, one held a Buddhist whisk, and one held a peach blossom branch. The 3 doppelganger attacked at the same time. Each attack was equally powerful. It was not inferior to the Black Tortoise secret technique that Yang Wu had just used. Jin Juezi also did not want to fall behind. He had the support of Tathagata. He held the Tathagata divine seal in his hand and slammed it through the air. It was as if he was going to strike down the sky. The surrounding living beings were all shocked to see this astonishing battle. They knew that these freaks were one step ahead of them. However, they did not know how far this step was. Now, they finally understood. Even if it was just one step, they might not be able to catch up even if they took 1,000 steps. This was because they had received the support of countless resources since they were young. Their foundations were extremely solid. No one could compare to them. Several humans and several spirit demons unleashed their most powerful battle skills, causing strange phenomena to appear one after another. Yang Wu was unable to block all these attacks. He activated all the power in his Dantian. The divine court Dao flower was fully restored. The black-white immortal lotus appeared and hovered above his head. Countless divine burial chi exploded and forced Jin Xiao to retreat. His black-white immortal lotus swept toward Jin Xiao. Jin Xiao was forced to dodge. Just as he was about to counterattack, the black-white immortal lotus had already spun toward Fox King, Grand Palace Lord, Jiang Ping, and the other living beings. Yang Wu's fighting soul appeared. It turned into several doppelganger and attacked the living beings' souls with the power of the black-white immortal lotus. The power of the black and white immortal lotus was too shocking. No living creature could stop it. The Fox King was the focus of the black and white immortal lotus. The petals of the immortal lotus cut down like blades, shattering the fox claws and cutting off a section of the Fox King's tail. He screamed in pain and quickly retreated from the battlefield. In addition, the power of the fighting soul and the martial power of the black-white immortal lotus affected the souls of others. Even the Grand Palace Lord began to waver in his martial Dao. Jiang Ping's 3 doppelgangers were also hit by the black and white chi. They quickly merged into one and retreated far away. The power of the divine burial chi was too strong. Yang Wu didn't have it easy either. His body was attacked by these living beings. His shoulder was hit, his back was shot by an arrow, and one of his arms was pinned by a spirit demon's poisonous saint tooth. The sacred dragon physique was seriously injured. If it weren't for his immunity to poison, he wouldn't have been able to fight anymore. Yang Wu didn't want to drag this out any longer. The black-white immortal lotus continued to expand. The power of the fighting soul merged into it. He seemed to have become the ruler of this world and could clearly sense the positions of the living beings in all directions. A huge tortoise shadow appeared behind him. He clenched one hand into a fist and the other into a palm, attacking the living beings in all directions. Dragon Tortoise Sea-Turning Technique. The nearby world was enveloped by the power of the fist and palm. The black and white chi surged violently, creating a world of black and white. Many living beings felt a chill run down their spines. Even though they were holding top-grade sacred weapons, and had powerful martial arts, they felt that their lives were insignificant at this moment. It was as if their lives would wither away if the black and white chi passed by. These living beings all unleashed their strongest powers. They had to block this move, or they would really die. Rumble Rumble, Longevity Martial Tao, Fox Charm Heaven, Tathagata Buddhist Tao. 3 pure secret skills. Many shocking martial arts and superpowers erupted at the same time, forming a shocking aura that resisted the power of the black-white immortal lotus. Unfortunately, the divine burial chi had already merged with the black-white immortal lotus. The divine chi was so shocking that even the sacred energy couldn't resist it. Their martial arts and superpowers couldn't resist at all. The first palace lord was attacked by the black and white chi. His appearance rapidly aged, turning from a young man to a middle-aged man in the blink of an eye. He spat out a mouthful of blood and quickly fled. He shouted to the people of the Dragon Hall, "Let's go." The Fox King was also attacked by the black-white immortal lotus. A domineering fist came at her, shattering her charm art. Just as she was about to be smashed by the fist, she broke 2 of her foxtails and quickly fled, not even caring about her subordinates. Jin Juezi and Yang Wu fought fiercely. He exchanged a palm with Yang Wu. His palm hit Yang Wu's heart, but Yang Wu's palm also penetrated his chest. The black and white chi quickly devoured his vitality. Wrinkles immediately covered his body. He was sent flying. Before he died, he put his palms together and murmured, "Buddha says, if I don't enter hell, who will?" The dignified Tianli Temple's Arhut had completely fallen. 2 of Jiang Ping's 3 doppelgangers were also destroyed by Yang Wu's power. He spat out a mouthful of blood and quickly fled into the distance. If he was a little slower, he would have followed in Jin Juezi's footsteps. Even so, he had destroyed 2 of his doppelgangers. His strength was greatly reduced. He would need at least 1 or 2 years to regain his current combat strength. It could be said that he was severely injured. In addition, several human prodigies, spirit demons, and foreign creatures died under the black and white immortal lotus and the dragon turtle sea turning art. The only one who was unscathed by Yang Wu's move was Jin Xiao. A Kasaya had appeared on his body at some point. It blocked the power of Yang Wu's black and white chi in Yang Wu's attack. He safely retreated from the range of Yang Wu's black and white immortal lotus. After this wave of power fell, Yang Wu's battle aura instantly withered. He spat out a mouthful of blood. He had paid a heavy price to repel these creatures. His body was almost crippled. He didn't dare to relax. The pills in his body dissolved. Together with the characteristics of his immortal body, he accelerated his recovery. He looked up at Jin Xiao and said faintly, "Make your move. This is our last battle. Are you sure you can still fight?" Jin Xiao said indifferently, "It's more than enough to defeat you," Yang Wu said with incomparable confidence. "Ah, not bad. You have the demeanor of when I dominated the Dragon Phoenix list." Jin Xiao laughed wildly and turned to leave. Golden lotuses bloomed with every step he took. His aura was extremely shocking. Yang Wu frowned as he watched Jin Xiao leave. He really didn't understand what he meant. He couldn't help but wonder, could he be a reincarnated person? There were all kinds of strange things in the transcendent being world. There were records that some giant forces used ancient methods to help people reincarnate. This wasn't a secret. Jin Xiao might be such a person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said such a thing. After Jin Xiao left, the creatures here fled like a tide. They were afraid that Yang Wu would settle the score with them if they were any slower. Yang Wu didn't wait for them to leave. He shouted, "Admit defeat. Otherwise, I'll kill all of you." An invincible aura enveloped this world. There was a spirit that no one in the world dared to disobey. Many creatures were so scared that they all opened their mouths to admit defeat. Just as Yang Wu's victory column was continuously refreshed, the Dragon Phoenix abyss finally opened again. It was time to end. Chapter 11:31. From the opening of the Dragon Phoenix abyss to the end, 1 year and 1 month had passed. This was not a long time. In the past, the battle of the dragons and the phoenixes would take 2 to 5 years from the beginning to the end. This time, it was considered short. This had a lot to do with the environment of the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. All the living beings in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss saw a door of light. If they rushed through the door of light, they would be able to leave this place and reach the outside world. If they could not get out before the door of light closed, they would be trapped in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss forever. No one paid attention to Yang Wu's victory anymore. They all soared into the sky and rushed toward the light gate. When they rushed into the light gate, some of them attacked their companions. They were very sinister. Before they left, they still wanted to win and snatch the universe items from their companions. Puffs of blood mist appeared in front of the light gate, filled with a strong smell of blood. The people from the Wuho gang did not stay idle. They soared into the sky and headed toward the light gate. Yang Wu saw the living beings in front of him killing each other and shouted to the people behind him, "Whoever dares to attack their companions will be killed without mercy." His voice was mighty, and the people behind him could hear him clearly. No one dared to go against his will. Yang Wu was the invincible emperor. He suppressed all the living beings of his generation. This was the supreme glory of the human race. He was the first invincible emperor of the human race in 10,000 years. His words were like an imperial edict to them. No, they were more important than an imperial edict. Before approaching the light gate, Yang Wu saw a familiar figure. It was Kuan Mingzi. Kuan Mingzi seemed to have sensed something. He turned around and met Yang Wu's gaze. He sneered, "I'll kill you next time." Yang Wu replied domineeringly, "There's no need for next time. Let's fight one-on-one after we get out." Yang Wu could not wait to get rid of a villain like Kuan Mingzi. Otherwise, he would become a big problem in the future. This was a powerful enemy. Many living beings passed through the light gate and appeared outside the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. When they left the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, their bodies felt lighter, and they could not help but let out a long cry. For the past year or so, they had been suffocating for a long time. The pressure of the gravity made them uncomfortable, and they had no Xian Qi to absorb, so their strength could not improve. For these geniuses, it was indeed very uncomfortable. Some of the people who had gained something felt that this trip was not in vain. Anyway, they wanted to enter the Saint Realm. It was not something that could be done in 1 or 2 years. They needed to comprehend the heaven and earth and temper their saint body. It would take some time before they could take that step. Their talents were amazing. Even if they fell behind by a year, they were still confident that they could make up for it in a short time. Yang Wu and the others also successfully appeared in the outside world. Their faces were full of joy. Yang Wu appeared to be very calm. He even missed the gravitational field of this place. The living environment here was very bad. However, it was also very beneficial for cultivation. The operation speed of the Supreme Nine Mysteries formula had become much faster after he had arrived in the outside world. So, he could absorb the Xian Qi at a much faster rate. His body had also become much lighter. His fighting strength had also increased by a lot compared to a year ago. So, he wouldn't need to run away in a distressed state even if he were to encounter the attack of a sage expert. Swoosh! Swoosh! Many Saint Realm creatures quickly rushed over. These Saint Realm creatures were the protectors of these geniuses. They had not appeared because the battle between the dragons and the phoenixes did not allow them to intervene. Now that the battle between the dragons and the phoenixes was over, they no longer had such restrictions. "Where's my Lin?" A saint voice rang out. "Your Highness, I'm here. How high did you rank?" Another saint voice rang out. "My saint must have entered the top 10 of the Heavenly Dragon list, right? The Invincible Emperor is definitely in the bag of my demon race." These Saint Realm creatures were very powerful. If they had not restrained their Saint Qi, these geniuses who had just rushed out would have been suppressed and injured by their Saint Qi. As a large number of creatures appeared, the news that Yang Wu had become the Invincible Emperor gradually spread. Our human genius has become the Invincible Emperor? Is this a joke?" A human saint said in disbelief. "Impossible. How can the human race become the Invincible Emperor? There must be a mistake," a demon saint said in disbelief. "Don't worry. The Divine Jade token will show it." We'll have the final result after the exit closes. At this moment, the members of the Wuho gang around Yang Wu had already bid farewell to him one after another. After the battle between the dragons and the phoenixes, these geniuses of the various factions had to return to their own factions. They could not follow Yang Wu forever. Naturally, Yang Wu would not make things difficult for them and allowed them to return to their respective saints. Gang leader, you are the hope of the human race. I hope you can break through the star pattern realm as soon as possible and become the first saint. Gang leader, you must remember me. I've had a crush on you for a long time. Gang leader, I'll visit you at the Yang clan when I'm free. You're also welcome to visit my sect. Gang leader, I wish you a bright future. Become a saint and enter the sky-reaching realm. The geniuses by Yang Wu's side had all witnessed how strong Yang Wu was. They were all in awe of Yang Wu. They were also glad that they had formed a good relationship with Yang Wu. They might be able to use in the future. Yang Wu replied with a smile. After spending half a year with them, he was also reluctant to part with them. Each of these geniuses had a boundless future. Maintaining a good relationship with them would only bring benefits and no harm. For the Yang clan to rise again, not only did they need to be strong themselves, they also needed the support of various factions. Only then could they become stronger faster. These geniuses all had extraordinary backgrounds. When they became saints in the future, they would definitely take up important positions in their respective factions. With the good relationship they had now, they might be able to make more allies for the Yang clan. With these relationships, the Xing clan and Lu clan would not dare to act rashly. Moreover, it would be their turn to worry. Qing Feng, white-haired demoness, and Liang Rulong appeared beside Yang Wu. Qing Feng's voice rang in Yang Wu's ears. Young clan leader, let's leave quickly. Yang Wu frowned and asked, what's wrong? You're still on the wanted list. There are many saints here. I suspect that someone will take this opportunity to cause trouble. Qing Feng replied, don't worry. I've become the invincible emperor. Let's see who dares to touch me. Yang Wu said confidently. After the last battle, he had established an invincible spirit. Even if a high-level saint appeared, he would not be afraid. Husband, I'll go back to the palace first. Ziyu held Yang Wu's hand and said reluctantly. Yang Wu held Ziyu's hand and said seriously, don't go back. Come back to the Yang clan with me. Ziyu shook her head and said, not now. The Purple Cloud Palace is stronger than you think. You should cultivate as fast as you can. The stronger, the better. It would be best if you could reach the sky-penetrating level and come back to the Purple Cloud Palace to pick me up. Sisters, I'll leave Wu to you. Ziyu's voice sounded in Meng Bingshue's and Shu Yujun's ears. Ziyu broke free from Yang Wu's hand and quickly flew towards the Purple Cloud Palace. Yang Wu wanted to chase after her, but he saw a saint from the Purple Cloud Palace looking at him. The saint's eyes were full of warning. It seemed that if he took one step forward, that saint would attack him. It was a high-level saint. Otherwise, Yang Wu would not feel so pressured. Yang Wu did not care about that. Ziyu was his wife. If he could not protect his wife and keep her by his side, what kind of man was he? When Yang Wu was about to step forward, Meng Bingxue grabbed Yang Wu's arm and said, Yang Wu, don't be impulsive. You are an invincible king. You will be an invincible saint in the future. As long as you reach that level, you can go to the Purple Cloud Palace and pick up Yu. If you are impulsive now, she will be more worried about your safety. Shu Yujun also said, that's right. If two people love each other for a long time, they won't be together all the time. When we are strong enough, we will have our freedom. It seems like we're still too weak. Yang Wu let out a long sigh. When the surrounding living beings heard Yang Wu's sigh, they were all too ashamed to show their faces. If he was weak, wouldn't that mean they were weaker than ordinary people? Many creatures had already rushed out of the Gate of Light. The Gate of Light quietly closed. Only half of the 100,000 creatures that went in came out alive. The other half had completely fallen in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss. This was the result of fighting and killing each other. It was incomparably cruel. No one could avoid it. Some of the Saint Realm creatures could not help but shout in anger. If their descendants or disciples did not come out, it meant that they had fallen. Unfortunately, no matter how angry these Saint Realm creatures were, they could not change the fact. At the same time, the invincible list appeared again. Swoosh! A light screen appeared above the Dragon Phoenix abyss. Rows of names appeared. First place, Yang Wu. 10,001 wins, 0 losses. Second place, Fox Princess. 457 wins, 1 loss. Third place, First Palace King. 3,800 wins, 1 loss. Fourth place, Xinyuan Houwu. 3,566 wins, 1 loss. Fifth place, Jiangping. 3,130 wins, 1 loss. After seeing the list, many of the Saint Realm creatures wondered if they had seen wrongly. The human race had taken 4 of the top 5 places. It was simply unbelievable. Usually, the number of humans who could enter the top 100 of the invincible list was the least. It was even rarer to enter the top 10. This time, not only did many people enter the top 10, but they also occupied the top 5 places. This was too frightening. The Sky Prides who had entered the Dragon Phoenix Abyss knew that the list was not fake. This was because the most powerful monsters of the demon race, spirit demon race, and other races had all fallen in the hands of the same person. Their deaths would naturally cause the rankings to disappear, benefiting the human race who had lost very little. Haha! Saint Master Yang Wu has obtained the title of Invincible Emperor. The human race is mighty. The human race can finally hold our heads high. Who said that the human race is weak and incompetent? The human race is the strongest. Many of the human race saints cheered. They were all proud that Yang Wu had become the Invincible Emperor. This was the first time in 10,000 years. Moreover, he had broken through 10,000 victories, setting a new record. Suddenly, an angry roar rang out. How did the 2 princes of our race, Di Shang and Di Mo, die? Chapter 1132. 10,001 Victories. This was the first time a creature had won so many victories since the Battle of the Dragon and Phoenix was held in the supernatural realm. In the past, the highest number of victories was 9,000. That was the historical record. For countless years, no creature had broken that record. Today, it had finally been broken. After Yang Wu defeated all kinds of monsters, he still only had 5,000 victories. But after he urged them to surrender, many people voluntarily surrendered, including the thousands of people from the Dragon Palace and the Phoenix Palace. There were also other humans who had rushed there. After they sensed Yang Wu's invincible power, they willingly surrendered. There were also spirit demons and other races who were afraid of Yang Wu. If they didn't surrender, they would die. After they surrendered, the Dragon Phoenix Abyss reopened the light door. Yang Wu was worthy of the title of Invincible King. There had never been an invincible king as powerful as Yang Wu, who could crush so many top geniuses. Even the Fox King of the previous Invincible King did not have such ability. Yang Wu killed monsters from all kinds of races, including the 2 princes of the Jade Emperor's race. A saint from the Jade Emperor's race yelled. In another direction, a demon saint from the demon race also yelled, "My demon son hasn't come out. Who did this? I'm going to eat him alive." These creatures had amazing holy chi. Each of them had the power of a high level. No one would dare to provoke them, no matter where they were. Someone yelled, "It's Yang Wu of the human race." In an instant, sacred wills swept out and shrouded Yang Wu's position. Qing Feng quickly blocked Yang Wu and yelled, "Go. It'll be too late if you don't go now." Qing Feng was a mid-level demon saint. She wasn't weak, but she didn't have the confidence to fight so many powerful saints here. "Don't worry," Yang Wu said in a low voice. "I haven't taken the Invincible King's reward. If they really dare to touch me, they'll be surrounded by other saints." He was also very nervous, but with little Hay by his side, he felt a little more at ease. This fellow's mysterious power had been largely unsealed, and he believed that she would have a way to resist these saint-level beings. Yang Wu of the human race prepared to die. A furious roar rang out as a shockingly powerful force slapped towards Yang Wu from afar. This power came too quickly, and it was definitely not something an ordinary saint stage being could withstand. Without waiting for this power to fall, another power swept over and blocked the power that was about to kill Yang Wu. A divine voice sounded. Who dares to kill the young, invincible emperor of the human race? An old man quietly appeared in the air. He didn't look impressive and didn't release any holy chi, but he attracted the attention of all creatures. Who do you think you are? I want to kill Yongwu. Can you stop me? The protector of the Jade Emperor race walked out. He was a member of the Gold Clan, which was a higher race than the Stone Clan, but not as strong as the Jade Emperor race. He responded forcefully, and another beam of golden light appeared, turning into a golden arrow that shot towards Yongwu. It's either you die or I die in the battle between the dragon and the phoenix. If you can't even accept this, I advise you not to participate in the battle between the dragon and the phoenix in the future, the old human saint said. He flicked out a beam of light and shattered the golden arrow. Who is this saint? He's so strong, a creature whispered. Great fortune Saint Mo of the Divine Telling Tower, a human saint said. Great fortune Saint Mo was quite famous in the Divine Telling Tower. This time, the battle between the dragon and the phoenix was hosted by him. He was a top saint. Aha, our demon son is dead. You human prides don't need to live either. A demon sneered and walked out. His aura locked onto Yongwu. He could launch an attack on Yongwu at any time. In the blink of an eye, many foreign saints also walked out. Their aura was so strong that the prides almost couldn't breathe. Only a few prides could resist the aura of these saints. These prides were all on the invincible ranking and had the power of battle saints. A human saint stood out and yelled, Saint Mo is right. The battle between the dragon and the phoenix has always been a battle of life and death. Yongwu of the human race is invincible, and you want to kill him. That's unreasonable. We're the saints of the human race. We won't allow these foreign races to kill our prides. Then, the aura of many human saints floated and swept behind Saint Mo. They formed a battle array with the foreign saints. The sacred war was about to start. Do you really want to be enemies with us? You'd better think carefully if you want to risk your lives for a young human, Saint Gold threatened. Demon Saint also said, why waste time talking nonsense with them? If you don't hand over the young man, we'll start the sacred war today. In the next moment, this demon saint released his demonic aura. His demonic aura covered hundreds of miles. A demonic claw grabbed at Yongwu. Great fortune Saint Mo was about to save him, but Saint Gold quickly stopped him. Not only that, but the other demon saints and foreign saints also moved. They stopped the saints who wanted to help Yongwu. Bastard, if you dare to touch him, I'll fight you to the death. Great fortune Saint Mo yelled angrily. He held an abacus in his hand and smashed it at Saint Gold. Many abacus beads came down like stars. Saint Gold was only a high-level saint, but he had powerful magic. Majestic golden aura spread out and formed a golden holy domain to block Great Fortune Saint Mo's attack. The other saints also attacked. They were more restrained and didn't risk their lives like Great Fortune Saint Mo did. Run, I'll stop him. Qing Feng shouted and transformed into her true form to block Demon Saint's attack. Master, let's go. White Hair Witch pulled Yongwu and quickly fled. Yongwu wouldn't let Qing Feng die alone. He broke free from White Hair Witch's grasp and rushed over with the Phoenix Feather Fan. You want to kill me? Come and try. He waved the Phoenix Feather Fan, and the power of true fire swept out. The power of the innate true fire and Qing Feng's green demon, Saint Qi, blocked the demon's attack. Boom! The saint power exploded, and Qing Feng was blown away. She was at the front, so she was under the most pressure. Yongwu's innate true fire was scattered, and the scattered firepower scared the surrounding creatures, causing them to quickly run away. Once they were touched, none of them would be able to survive. You still dare to resist? Interesting. I will peel off your skin, pull out your tendons, and devour your flesh as a sacrifice to the prince of my race. The devil saint coldly spoke as he stretched out another terrifying devil palm towards Yongwu. Who do you think you are? Yongwu will kill you. Yongwu shouted, and his battle intent was raised to the extreme. The black and white immortal lotus appeared, and the divine burial, Qi, covered his body. He attacked with the Phoenix Feather Fan in one hand and the Death Scythe in the other. After the last battle in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, Yang Wu had improved greatly. This improvement was in his battle intent. As long as he persisted, he would have the confidence to fight with any opponent. Even if he couldn't win, he had to show that he was invincible. His aura couldn't be weak, and he might even be able to suppress his opponent. Only then would he be able to unleash his strongest battle prowess and suppress his opponent. The Phoenix Feather Fan carried the innate true fire and turned into a blue phoenix, enveloping an area of 10 miles in radius and burning the Devil Chi. The Death Scythe slashed out the black and white immortal lotus. The divine burial chi could penetrate any power, and even the demonic chi was no exception. It broke Demon Saint's demonic claw. Unfortunately, Yang Wu's strength was too weak, otherwise he would have been able to injure Demon Saint. Yang Wu didn't stop. Since he attacked, he had to give it his all. He couldn't just sit there and wait for death. The blue phoenix attacked again. Her phoenix feathers flickered, and countless green blades shot towards Demon Saint like arrows. White-haired Demoness and Liang Rulong couldn't get close. The chi field here was too strong, and there were only first grade star Rune Realm cultivators. Their strength was still too weak, and they could only attack from afar. Sun Do rushed over with his broken staff and shouted, "You want to kill my big brother? Have you asked for my permission?" Little Man didn't stay idle either. She summoned her barbarian god Transcendence image and swung her innate war hammer at Demon Saint. Yu Yu, who had returned to Purple Firmament Palace, also threw out her purple gourd. Wudong Songqing was also very righteous. He shouted to his companions, 7 points formation. Those who were close to Yang Wu immediately attacked. They couldn't allow anyone to die here. The Demon Saint's strength was too shocking, and it wasn't something they could handle. The demonic chi turned into dozens of energies and attacked those who attacked. Pung pung. Many figures were sent flying by the impact. If it wasn't for Yang Wu and Qing Feng blocking most of the Demon Saint's energy, some of them would have died. Yang Wu and Qing Feng spat out blood and were sent flying. Fortunately, Demon Saint was unable to give chase immediately. Yang Wu's black and white immortal lotus contained the chi of God's tomb, and it seeped into his demonic body. Furthermore, the Icewing Blade had also slashed out invisibly, preventing him from giving chase. "Xiao Man, what are you waiting for?" Yang Wu shouted. The sacred mandala flower was the main force to deal with the Devil Saint. After receiving the nourishment of the immortal dew, her strength had broken through to the intermediate late Saint realm. She suddenly attacked, erupting with great power. A huge evil flower swallowed the Devil Saint. Demon Saint didn't expect such an evil plant to appear, and he was quickly surrounded by the sacred mandala flower. The sacred mandala flower was known as one of the 10 great ancient evil plants. It had extraordinary power, and a thick chi of death and poison seeped out of it, corroding Demon Saint's body. Roar! Demon Saint roared, and his demonic chi condensed into a demonic armor. He kept attacking the sacred mandala flower, trying to destroy it. The sacred mandala flower's chi of death and poison was too overbearing. Demon Saint couldn't resist it, and his body was corroded. His life force was greatly reduced, and his breath became chaotic. He couldn't break free from the sacred mandala flower's restraint. "I'll kill you." Yang Wu rushed over again. He ignored the injuries on his body and opened his soul eye. A beam of soul light shot into Demon Saint's demon core, further disturbing Demon Saint, and the death scythe slashed down mercilessly. "No!" Puff. Chapter 1133. A high-level Great Devil Saint was killed. All the living beings stared at the scene with their eyes wide open. It was as if they had seen a ghost in broad daylight. They were all frightened. That Sky Tyrant demon was killed. Am I seeing things? That's right. It's too scary. What kind of evil thing is that? It can actually bind the Sky Tyrant Demon Saint. That the guy who's not even afraid of Top Saint. That evil thing is very strong, but Yang Wu is even stronger. He can even block the power of a high-level Great Devil Saint and kill him. He's worthy of being called the Invincible Emperor. Yang Wu may be the strongest invincible emperor in history. He deserves that title. After Yang Wu killed the great devil saint, the sacred mandala flower did not hesitate to devour the great devil saint's flesh and blood to make up for her loss. Such a high-level great devil saint bloodline was also a great supplement for her. Moreover, she could also learn her opponent's magic by devouring his bloodline. That was why the sacred mandala flower was so terrifying. "Give me the demon core," Yang Wu said to the sacred mandala flower. "Yes, master." The sacred mandala flower answered willingly and spat out the demon core to Yang Wu. Yang Wu took the demon core and quickly swept toward the others. He did not want any accidents to happen to the people around him. Fortunately, they were all fine. Just now, there were saints who secretly helped them block the fatal attack. At this time, the sacred war also stopped. The impact of Yang Wu killing a devil saint was too great for them to bear. Good. A decent junior has finally appeared in my human race," Great Fortune Mo said with great excitement. Another saint echoed, "That's right. We must protect such an invincible young man with all our strength." "You killed Tyrant He. We can't just let this go." Another great devil saint stood out. At the same time, many other great devil saints also broke through the air. "That's right. If we don't kill this little bastard today, we won't let this go," the golden saint said in a deep voice. Many saints of foreign races appear behind him, looking ready to fight at any time. A demon sage from the spirit demon race also spoke out for Yang Wu to stay. They all knew that if they allowed Yang Wu to continue growing, the human race would have another invincible overlord in the future, which would be very disadvantageous to their races. Right now, they were looking for an excuse to deal with Yang Wu so that Yang Wu wouldn't have a chance to live. A human saint said, "Saint Mo, I think we should hand over Yang Wu. I'm afraid he doesn't live up to his title of Invincible Emperor. He must have borrowed the power of the evil sacred flower to obtain it. This is considered cheating." This human race sage was from the battle race's Xing family. He didn't want to see Yang Wu live either. Another saint added, "That's right. Using a living holy object to attack is against the rules. He doesn't deserve to be an invincible emperor. Strip him of his ranking. Stripping him of his ranking is too lenient. I suggest we cripple him and throw him out for our fellow Taoists to deal with." Another saint with sinister intentions said. Many human geniuses were incredulous when they heard the saint's words. In front of so many saints of other races, it was one thing for these saints to not be united, but to add insult to injury in front of them was too despicable. Great Fortune Teller Mo was furious. He yelled, "The Divine Jade Tablet can record the authenticity of the ranking. How can you jump to conclusions based on guesses? Besides, he's an invincible emperor of the human race. Do you have any shame?" That's not the case. From what I know, Yang Wu has cultivated the way of death from Yama's palace and has such an evil object. Who knows how many creatures he's killed? It's not a blessing for the human race that he's become an invincible emperor, a saint from the Xing family replied. Soon after, many other sages agreed. Some human saints refuted the Xing family saint's words, which led to a heated argument. The other outsiders were laughing at the human race. Since ancient times, the human race had been the smartest race ever since they gained intelligence, but they were also the most scheming race. Except for a few supreme overlords who ruled the human race in ancient times, the human race had been in a state of disunity for most of the time. That was why the other outsiders looked down on the human race. Cut the crap. Capture that little bastard, and we'll let this go. Otherwise, we'll start a holy war, Gold Saint yelled. Try me if you dare. Great Fortune Teller Mo released the power of a top-tier saint. Many saints stood behind Great Fortune Teller Mo, forming a powerful force that was ready to fight at any time. The Xing family saints retreated with many other saints. They had no intention of helping Great Fortune Teller Mo. Even His Highness Yejuran was killed. You humans are really good. A nine-eyed evil beast overlord with an evil aura rushed out and shouted. Without any warning, he shot an eye technique at Mo de Zhao. Great Fortune Teller Mo hurriedly blocked it, but the eye technique knocked him back 1,000 feet and made him vomit blood. It was an evil demon that was even stronger than him. Lord Evil Ruler, you've come at the right time. Kill these humans, a demon saint exclaimed. Apart from that, there were also 3 devil saints with towering devil chi. There were demon saints from the Death God clan, 8 Arms Demon Ape, and Sky Tyrant clan. Every one of them was a top-tier demon saint. Suddenly, the atmosphere became tense. Who would have thought that the battle of the young generation would cause such a huge commotion? Great fortune teller Mo's face turned ugly. He yelled, "If we really start a war, none of you will be able to escape." There were many saints from the human race, but he was the only top-tier saint. Moreover, he was only at level 10 Starline Realm. If he was at level 12 Starline Realm, he would not be afraid of these demon saints. All right, bring that ant over. We'll eat him alive in front of the human race. Demon Saint from the Death God clan said coldly. Then he looked at Sun Qian and Sun Do and said, "You two from the Saint Do clan, don't even think about escaping this time. You bastards, do you really think you can defeat us?" Sun Qian scolded. Now, he could only be stubborn. In front of so many top-tier demon saints, they had no chance of escaping. Yang Wu asked Little He, "Is there a way out?" "I have no way out for now. Hurry up and escape," Little He replied. Little He had many trump cards, but it was difficult for her to deal with a few top-tier demon saints at the same time. Moreover, it was even more difficult for her to protect Yang Wu. Yang Wu knew that this was bad. Little He could not do anything, and he could not do anything either. The gap between them was too big. He could only hope that a powerful human saint would appear. This is the territory of the demon race. It's not your place to be presumptuous. A demon saint suddenly stood out and shouted. It was a flood dragon saint. Yang Zhenlong had begged him to step in. "It's best if we don't interfere in the affairs of the human race." Another fire phoenix demon saint said, "That's right. This is the territory of the demon race. As long as you don't destroy our territory, you can do whatever you want. If you dare to destroy our territory, even if you demon sovereigns come, you will die." Another demon saint said, "Haha, don't worry. It's just taking care of a few ants. We won't destroy the flowers and plants here." The demon saint of the Death God clan laughed maniacally. He finally made his move. Big Diviner Mo knew that he would not be able to win this time. He threw out his abacus. One by one, his calculation beads turned into stars and pressed down, blocking the demon saint's path. In addition, he turned into an afterimage and wanted to take Yang Wu away. He would not allow Yang Wu to be hurt. The nine-eyed demon opened all 8 eyes and broke through space to attack Big Diviner Mo, cutting off his path. At the same time, the 8-armed demon saint stretched out 2 palms. One of them went for Yang Wu and the sacred mandala flower, while the other went for Sun Qian and Sun Do. "Let's go." Sun Qian took out his sky-piercing artifact and wanted to take Sun Do away. "I'm not going." Sun Do did not want to run away alone. Even if he died, he wanted to die with Yang Wu. "Young master, you go. I'll take him with me." Qing Feng once again felt that she was useless. She used her body to block in front of Yang Wu, fighting for a chance for Yang Wu to live. "Me too." White-haired demoness Yin Qi's silver hair fluttered. She used all her strength to block in front of Yang Wu. "Young master, remember to take care of the giant wave gang for me." Liang Rulong rushed up without hesitation. Without Yang Wu, he would not be where he was today. He was willing to die for Yang Wu. Yang Wu's heart was dripping blood as he wailed, "Ah, if only it was a bit stronger, I wouldn't be bullied by these demon saints." Yang Wu did not leave. Instead, he activated the black and white immortal lotus again and charged forward. The holy mandala flower did not retreat either. If Yang Wu died, she would die as well. The other human saints wanted to help, but it was too late. They were all blocked by the other saints. There was nothing they could do. Meng Bingxue, Shu Yujun, Lu Ji, and Yang Ba were even more powerless. They wanted nothing more than to die for Yang Wu. Just a final struggle, the 8-armed demonic ape sage sneered. As long as he clenched his fist, he would be able to kill all of these ants. The power of a top-tier demon saint was unimaginable to other beings. Little He's canine eyes shone with immortal light. Looks like I'll have to use all the power I've gained over the past few years. Little Hay was just about to attack when it seemed to sense something and retracted its immortal light. A star-like palm appeared in the air and slapped toward the 8 arms demonic ape sage. Bang! The 8 arms demonic ape sage did not even have a chance to react before he turned into a pool of blood and died. Even his demon core was destroyed. This shocking palm strike frightened all the creatures, including those at the top of the saint realm. You even dared to touch this sovereign's disciple. You demonic seeds sure of guts. An extremely domineering voice resounded mightily. The voice was still 10,000 miles away, but the attack had arrived first. It was clear how powerful the newcomer was. The death god demon saint panicked. He shouted, "May I know who you are, senior?" "I am from the death god clan." Without waiting for him to finish his words, another slap came down, and this death god demon saint was instantly torn into pieces. He couldn't be more dead. "Run!" The 9-eyed demon beast, the sky tyrant demon, and the other saints did not dare to stay. They quickly fled. They realized that a human immortal realm cultivator must have come. The other saints were also scared. They did not even care about their juniors and disciples. They quickly fled. Is Master here? Chapter 1134. How Run was the only remaining guardian elder of the Heavenly Palace. He was also Yang Wu's master. Yang Wu didn't know how strong he was, but he guessed that he must be a Jade Moon Realm Tongtian old monster. When such a figure arrived, the demon saints were chopped up like vegetables. They were smashed into a pool of blood. No one could escape. These saints didn't even have the chance to use their Tongtian items. The palm that came toward them contained the power of heaven and earth. It was unstoppable. Sensing this terrifying power, all of the living beings were so shocked that they were speechless. It wasn't just the demon saints. Even the gold saint, who wanted to kill Yang Wu, was killed. The Xing family saint was so scared that he wet his pants. He was worried that the Tongtian old monster would come for him. If that happened, he would die. Damn it, why does Yang Wu have such a powerful backer? The Xing family saint cursed in his heart. Every major force had a Tongtian old monster, which was why they were able to stand among the top forces. Without a Tongtian old monster, they could only be considered a first-rate force. If the Yang family didn't have Gong Salon, they would have been wiped out by the Xing family. The sky-covering palm print didn't land on the human saint's head. It only left a warning. Yang Wu is the chief disciple of the Heavenly Palace. Whoever dares to touch him will be slapped to death. The voice was so loud that it fell into the ears of all beings. The words Heavenly Palace were deeply imprinted in their minds. Their expressions became even more interesting. The Heavenly Palace, once the #1 force, had reappeared. Many people have been guessing that Yang Wu's background was extraordinary. He wasn't just a direct descendant of the Yang family. He must have an even more powerful background to support him. Now everything was clear. Only a force like the Heavenly Palace could cultivate such a monstrous figure. Although the Heavenly Palace had been destroyed, there were still some inheritances left behind. The ruins of the Heavenly Palace had never been found. After the demon saints and saints were killed, the Heavenly Palace's name once again spread throughout the transcendental realm. Everyone looked at Yang Wu in a different light. There was jealousy, envy, murderous intent. There were all kinds of emotions. Back then, many cultivators of the Heavenly Palace never returned. Many major forces took the opportunity to attack the Heavenly Palace. They killed the people of the Heavenly Palace and stole everything from the Outer Palace. They had already formed a deadly feud with the Heavenly Palace. The appearance of the successor of the Heavenly Palace naturally shocked these major forces and made them want to eliminate the Heavenly Palace completely. After the voice faded away, no one appeared in front of the crowd. They had no idea which expert from the Heavenly Palace had killed the Devil's Saint. Great Fortune Master Emo adjusted his breathing and said, "I announce that Yang Wu of the Human Clan is the Dragon Emperor of this year's Dragon Phoenix list. He is also the Invincible Emperor of this year. Yang Wu is mighty. Yang Wu is mighty." The young geniuses here began to shout loudly, each wave louder than the last. Regardless of whether they hated Yang Wu or not, Yang Wu had won the greatest glory for the humankind in the past 10,000 years. Therefore, they all felt happy about it. The saints of the other races all left with their geniuses. They didn't want to see the humans celebrating here. After all the outsiders had left, Great Fortune Master Mo announced again, according to the previous rewards, the Dragon Emperor, Phoenix Emperor, Dragon King, and Phoenix King can all receive a free divination from the fortune-telling pavilion. They will also be given an yin and yang ring. There's a lot of resources stored in it, enough to support your cultivation until you become a saint. In addition, the top 100 of the Heavenly Dragon list and Heavenly Phoenix list can all enter the sacred pool to cultivate after 1 year. The geniuses who didn't make it into the top 100 all looked envious. Being able to enter the sacred pool meant that these geniuses could become saints faster than others. Once these geniuses widened the gap between them, it would be difficult for them to catch up unless they had a better opportunity. In addition, Yang Wu has won glory for the human race. He has obtained the title of the first invincible emperor of the human race in the past 10,000 years. He has also broken the historical record. He will receive an additional reward. The reward is a piece of the Heavenly Jade Tube and 3 free divination opportunities from the Fortune-Telling Pavilion. The reward of the Dragon Emperor will be increased tenfold. Great Fortune Master Mo announced solemnly. All the geniuses of the human race gasped. They were shocked by the amazing reward. In the past, the rewards of the Dragon Emperor and Phoenix Emperor were already 5 times that of the Dragon King and Phoenix King. Now that Yang Wu had obtained the title of Invincible Emperor, the reward of the Dragon Emperor was increased tenfold. What kind of amazing resources would that be? Not only would it be enough to support him to become a saint, but it would also be enough to support him to become a mid-level saint. In addition, the Heavenly Jade Tube was also extremely noble. It was equivalent to a death exemption token. No old monster of the heaven-reaching realm of the human race could attack Yang Wu. Otherwise, they would be killed by the joint forces of the heaven-reaching realm of the major forces. If an old monster of the foreign race attacked, as long as he crushed the Jade Tube, a heaven-reaching realm expert would come to help. As for the 3 divination opportunities from the Fortune-Telling Pavilion, they were even more precious. Everyone knew that the Fortune-Telling Pavilion was the best at divination. As long as they had something to ask them for divination, they would give a prepared answer. There was once a person who obtained a divination opportunity from the Divine Fortune Teller building and found his own martial arts opportunity, thus stepping onto the peak of martial arts. This matter had always been passed down as a legend. Since then, many people wanted to obtain a divination opportunity from the Divine Fortune Teller building. Some people even took out such an opportunity to auction, and the price was astronomical. As a result, the reputation of the Divine Fortune Teller building grew. Many people looked at Yang Wu enviously. They were really envious and jealous. There were all kinds of emotions in their hearts. Yang Wu didn't care much about this. Whether he could become a saint or not depended on whether he could find the Xian Essence Qi. With the Xian Essence Qi, the 9 mystery formulas could be upgraded and he could smoothly enter the saint realm. Otherwise, no matter how many resources he had, it would be difficult for him to become a saint. Fortune-telling Mo gave out the rewards, and it was Yang Wu's turn last. He looked at Yang Wu with a satisfied expression and said earnestly, "In the future, the human race will depend on you young people. This invincible competition is also called the Invincible Youth Competition. It doesn't mean that you are really invincible. In the future, there will be invincible saints and invincible heavenly reaching realm competitions. That will be the biggest event for all clans, and it will represent the true meaning of invincibility. You must guard against arrogance and rashness." Yang Wu was grateful to Fortune-telling Mo. He bowed slightly to Fortune-telling Mo and said, "Thank you very much for your guidance. I will work hard to cultivate and not let down the name of the human race." "That's good. You can go now." Fortune-telling Mo waved his hand and said. He paused for a moment and said to Yang Wu, "Saint Master Yang Wu, you stay here for a while." "Yes." Yang Wu didn't want to go against Fortune-telling Mo. His master didn't appear, and it was obvious that he didn't have any instructions. His crisis had passed, so he shouldn't be in any danger if he stayed. Song Qing also transmitted his voice to Yang Wu and said, "Saint Master Yang Wu, we will wait for you." Yang Wu nodded to him and signaled his companions to go with Song Qing and wait for him. Sun Do, Lu Ji, Yang Ba, Little Man, and the others went with the people of Wudang. Qing Feng, white-haired Demonis, and Liang Rulong didn't dare to go too far. To them, Yang Wu's life was more important than their lives. "Many thanks for saving my life. Do you have any other orders?" After Yang Wu saw that everyone had left, he expressed his gratitude to fortune-telling Mo. "Are you looking for something?" Fortune-telling Mo seemed to have seen through Yang Wu's thoughts and asked. Yang Wu was slightly surprised. He then nodded and said, "Fortune-telling Mo, I am indeed looking for something. Take out something related to it, and I will help you divine." Fortune-telling Mo said, "Is that really okay? You've just won great glory for the human race. This is nothing. I can sense that that thing is very important to you. I should be able to calculate its approximate location, but I'm not sure if it's accurate. Regardless of whether it is accurate or not, I am still grateful to Master." Yang Wu replied. He casually took out a piece of profound stone and inserted a strand of profound essence chi into it. He then gave fortune-telling Mo. He wanted to find the profound essence chi, but he didn't know if fortune-telling Mo would be accurate. He already knew the whereabouts of a type of profound essence chi. It was in the Dragon Phoenix Abyss, but it was too dangerous. Even Little Hay didn't dare act rashly, so he didn't dare to have any extravagant hopes. He could only go there to collect the profound essence chi after reaching a higher realm. He had heard of the fame of the fortune-telling tower, but this was the first time he had encountered a fortune-telling tower. He might as well give it a try. It didn't matter if fortune-telling Mo wasn't accurate. After all, he could always sense the existence of the profound essence chi. It was just a matter of time. Fortune-telling Mo took the profound stone from Yang Wu. He wasn't surprised. He held the profound stone and closed his eyes. He seemed to be sensing something. Strands of holy chi floated in his palm. Soon, he opened his palm and the profound stone floated. He muttered something, and his fingers kept moving, outlining a strange talisman. The talisman sank into the profound stone. The profound stone flew in one direction. Not long after, it flew back to fortune-telling Mo. He opened his eyes again and said faintly, "I have sensed the approximate location. Take it and use your heart to sense it. You will be able to find what you want." "Thank you, Master." Yang Wu took the profound stone skeptically. When he held the profound stone, the supreme Nine Mysteries mantra suddenly sent something. He was instantly overjoyed. "Master, you are really a fortune teller." This time, Yang Wu really believed fortune-telling Mo's words. The Regal Nine Mysteries formula could sense the presence of the mysterious essence chi, but it had to be near the mysterious essence chi or obtain something with the mysterious essence chi in order to be able to sense it. After great fortune Mo pinched this mysterious stone, the Regal Nine Mysteries formula was able to sense it. This was naturally due to great fortune Mo's divination. If fortune-telling Mo hadn't used the profound stone to calculate the location, the supreme Nine Mysteries mantra definitely wouldn't have sensed it. I'm still far from being a fortune teller. However, when you become a divine pharmacist in the future, don't forget about me.